Hello and welcome back to Watching Worst Film, the weekly podcast where we journey through the winners and the losers of the Golden Raspberry Awards, an annual ceremony dedicated to the very worst that Hollywood has to offer and beyond. We are travelling back. As always, I'm your host Kyle, joined with a certain Jericho. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Yeah. You can tell I'm in a very chipper mood today. It's kind of the usual depression, 2 hours moaning. And that's because we're travelling back to 2001 this year. An exciting time of new metal, skateboards, wrestling. The world is changing. For, politically as well. There's 9/11 will shape the world and change everything after this. Speaking of unmitigated disasters, today's film is Tom Green's directorial debut, Freddy Got Fingered. Finally. Yeah, so as always, we will cover the background to this film. I'm going to let you speak first so you can get a chance to speak this episode.
Yeah.
What is your background with Freddy Got Fingered?
Nothing. This is another of the video store classics, given that I don't know if it had the poster or if it was just always front and center, but I know the poster and nothing more.
Okay.
That is it. I don't really have any experience of Tom Green. Looking him up on IMDb, the only thing I'd seen him in previously was an episode of Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, okay.
Because I haven't seen the first Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
The picnic one, apparently.
Oh.
The one where they go to Hal's company picnic. Supposedly he's in that.
There.
Yeah. So there we go. The floor is yours.
So I love this film. I think that's how you know about it. I love this fucking movie.
Yeah, I know this film is being mentioned in every second episode of the podcast.
I watched this. Tom Green, I was the right age for Tom Green, but I wasn't a Tom Green fan.
Yeah.
Again, this is 2001, so it's like Jackass, we're all into Limp Bizkit, Tony Hawk skateboarding. It's that slacker cool, Kevin Smith's dream.
Yeah.
But Tom Green kind of annoyed me.
Weird.
I know.
Alone in that.
Yeah. Road Trip, I enjoyed a lot. I liked him in that. I loved Dude, Where's My Car and all these stupid Jane Silent Bobs. This was my time period. But I didn't like Freddy Got Fingered. And I think at the time it was because it was like gross. More. I thought it was a gross out kind of comedy.
Yeah.
So I just, that was it done. It was years later that I kind of got back into it, reassessing it. I always talk about Tom Green's SNL hosting apps, infamous hosting.
Infamous SNL marriage.
Yeah, but it's a great, unique episode that I kind of made me sort of
critical reappraisal of Thomas Green.
Let's have a discussion about Tom Green.
Yeah.
So I rewatched the film probably in my early 20s, and I fucking loved it. I laughed so hard. I got obsessed with it, to be honest. It's imprinted in my brain. I think about it and quote it nearly weekly.
Yeah.
The effects this film has had on me is, it's weird because then you watch the film and you're like, what the fuck? But so I absolutely...
Me and Sophie having an intervention after having watched it.
So yes, this is my probably 5th time seeing it.
Okay.
So it's not...
That day or...
But it hasn't got my diminishing returns. I still laughed, even though I know every joke, every beat that's coming up at this point. I'm still chuckling. I'm also chuckling in anticipation of them coming.
Yeah.
Which is a sign. I won't, to state for the record though, this isn't in like top 10 comedies for me. Like if I'm seriously thinking about it subjectively and objectively, this is what I would call a cult classic for me.
Yeah, like it's a great curio. I can understand loving it, but like objectively, there's something wrong with you if you're like,
I can still draw the line. Yeah. But anyway, let's get into Freddy Got Fingered. So, with a budget of, I have it right here.
I've looked at it.
Oh, you got it. Well, you know it then. The budget is a massive critical and commercial disappointment. 14 million. It makes back 14.3 million.
Profitable.
So the profit, he made a profit.
That's it. Don't discuss it any further.
Tom Green makes money.
Freddy Got Fingered 2 coming to cinemas near you.
So excellent. So let's get started right into it. I noticed, was frantically taking notes.
Yeah.
I have none. They're all living rent-free in my head for the rest of my life. So I'm going to let you take the floor to start us.
Okay, so my first thing I want to say is that, did you know Tom Green isn't actually a Tom?
No,
his name's Michael Thomas Green.
Is it?
So he's one of those people that goes by middle name. And I know Michael Green. So Yeah.
Yeah. And there's Anthony Michael Hall in this film, which is going to confuse the shit out of me. I didn't think Green was his last name. It did feel like a stage name.
Green is.
I thought he was going to have like a Berkovich. Or, you know, like
he's actually Green. It's the Tom that isn't.
Okay.
The Tom is his middle name.
That's a surprise. I didn't know that.
Okay, so with that covered, if you learned nothing else today, first note, obnoxious. Because it starts with a close-up and he's drawing is kind of like Beavis and Butthead, like Ren and Stimpy style cartoons. And he's talking to himself. What's he saying?
He's pitching. So it starts with a close-up on his hands with his cartoons.
Yeah.
He's pitching his cartoons.
Yeah.
No one likes them, basically. It's the famous X-ray cat.
Yeah.
He's got X-ray powers. He can see through wood.
Yeah.
So if someone's dropping, he can see through the door and say, "Hey, I can see you." I love this. Sophie, my girlfriend who watched it with us, loved this bit as well. She said it was genuinely funny because it's obnoxious, but right in the line. Yeah. It's great to show you what you're gonna get in for without giving it all away.
Yeah.
You do expect maybe a Hacker, a Kevin Smith would open on a big, disgusting, you know, like getting you straight into dropping you in the center of the
Do you know Kevin Smith? Kevin Smith would be opening on a static two-shot of two people talking.
If he had the budget. If you could buy jewels. But yeah, so like, it's just, and it is obnoxious. It is annoying.
Yeah.
I do find this bit funny. Yeah. It's great when there is someone in the film that does say this is shit.
Yeah,
I love that.
The Frank Grimes audience surrogate.
The producer of the animation studio in Hollywood. He's got some great lines as well, you know, like, because Tom Green's working in the cheese factory, cheese sandwich factory, and he's like, you know, that's a funny joke, but be serious and quit your job and whatever you're doing, become an animator. So that's like the whole point of the film.
Okay, we're not done yet. So my next note is Beeble the cat, you know, James Gunn's thing from movie 43. X-Ray Cat reminded me a little bit just in the style. It is just that kind of Gen X animation style. But it still made me think, I was like, I bet this movie has like, this is the Velvet Underground of films. In that famous Brian Eno, isn't it? Who said that like nobody bought it, but everybody who did started a band. Yes. Of like, I imagine this has like a lot of fans in like high places in terms of like comedians in the US. I can imagine a lot of people liked
100%.
Freddy Got Fingered because James Gunn for a start.
But this is why Tom Green's to me a genius. Is because he writes it in that he has someone say this is shit.
Yeah.
You know, whereas James Gunn goes and films it and puts it in a movie as a post credits. You know, like
most people are able to tether the commercial to things a little bit better, but like I do appreciate the integrity of Michael Green. My next note is annoying. I don't know what that is in relation to because I've just written obnoxious. So what I'm learning is that every second note is just going to be a synonym for annoying. Yes. We're going to get irritating. So I think that's still just when he's muttering to himself. My next note is the weirdest opening, which I don't know if I'm speaking about the cartoon or maybe it's just like how long he's blathering away to himself for. Like, I think it goes on uncomfortably long.
I mean, it's such a weird opening. I always speak about the opening. So once he's back, he's going off he's got a job. He's going to Hollywood. So that's what he's saying. This is the pitch. He's away to work. And it's strange because he gets on his skateboard. Yeah, pop punk's music. It's a great soundtrack. I do really appreciate the soundtrack. A lot of Ramones, AFI, like Agent Orange is there. Yeah,
maybe let's get into this now because I have this as a later note. But the soundtrack is great, and particularly when we've been watching films that can't really afford the licensing. Maybe it's just that this is my taste. But we had the Ramones, we get the New York Dolls, we get
Well, that's one right. So you're in 2001. If you're like, dude, where's my car?
You're
just pop punk.
You're Sum 41.
Yeah, you're Green Day, you're Blink. Whereas Tom Green being that little bit older, you've got the Dolls from the Ramones from the 70s, Agent Orange from the 80s. You've got like modern bands popping up too. It's got it's a really curated, good
it's an
soundtrack.
Eclectic mix.
And it's fitting as well for the most part. Like the Ramones is We're a Happy Family, and it's playing during the family
you
drama.
Say fitting, I think on the notes, but still,
but for Tom Green, because someone else would just throw something else out there.
That's
or they would put something just bland, generic, the chords. You know?
I have another note relating to the music later on, how it's used better than most comedies.
And that's what I'm saying. So like that's already some of the budget being used well.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be something you're going to hear me say much in this film.
Yeah.
But like, good on him making. It's a good soundtrack. I would own this soundtrack.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't own. I'd cover up the cover, but I would own it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, he's skateboarding out his house. He skateboards through a mall.
Yeah.
Gets chased by a cop.
And I told you this is better than Mallrats already.
And it is. It really is.
Yeah.
And I said the joke, Mallrats has professional skateboarders in it, and this doesn't.
Yeah.
Jason Lee, get fucked. And there's weirdness as well. I like when the cop's chasing him and he goes out the door and the cop just stops.
Yeah.
And then we move on to the next scene where we're suddenly at a bus station and we are introduced to Gordy, that's Tom Green's parents.
Okay, we're flying through this. My next note there, he's not Freddy. I always assumed that Tom Green was Freddy.
Yeah,
and so
well,
when we learn
that's why we're meeting the family. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. We are introduced to Rip Torn as his dad properly. We are introduced to his mum, whose actress name slips my brain, and we're introduced to the titular Freddy.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the title of this film throws off everyone. It's literally it's a minor joke subplot that's I think's cut, and we've watched a restored version. I can't remember the Freddy stuff much. You know, like we'll get into it. But Freddy is the younger brother. Yeah. And Gordy, Tom Green is the older brother.
Michael Green is 28 and Freddy is...
No, Freddy's 28. Michael Green is 24. Oh no, you've thrown me off. Tom Green is 28.
Just to warn you, I am also going to start referring to Tom Green as Freddy at various points in this recording. So.
Ruined me. Yeah, he's 28. The younger brother's 24.
Okay.
Younger brother has moved out, is a banker, has a job.
Wears a suit.
Yep. Gordy does not wear a suit.
Yeah.
Not yet. He lives in the basement, needs to get a job, wants to be an animator.
Yeah.
So he's going off to Hollywood. He's going to pursue his dreams. He's going to get a job. Everyone's so proud of him. Rip Torn's so proud of him that he gives him the keys to the car, to the convertible. So Tom Green stops, picks up his skateboard, gets on the bus, gets off the bus to go into a car. Yeah. I don't know why. I don't end up like so fucking confusing, and it's so confusing, but you wouldn't notice until you think about it. You know, you like your brain's just auto playing already, and you're like 5 minutes in. But yeah, so this is the first introduction, and you can talk about Rip Torn throughout the whole movie, but it's a great introduction for me. I really like the jokes when they're talking about he's got the license plate number one son, and Freddy's, you know, we're both my number one son. That's a great line from the mom, and don't make a thing out of it. Don't make a thing out of it. I thought that's genuinely funny. Obviously, proud is a meme. I'm not going to dissect all the jokes. I do recommend people watch them, but yeah, I love this opening. And then Gordy, Michael, Tom, Freddy, whatever you want to call them, speeds off to start the film. Go, really.
Okay, my note for you. We get Johnny Rotten singing over the opening, and I was like, I would love to hear John Lydon's thoughts on this film. Yes. Because now that he's just such a establishment square, I can imagine him being like, it's offensive. I
do
not care for it.
I want Johnny Rotten to watch it with John Lydon. I want 1977 Johnny Rotten with 2023 John Lydon.
Oh god, yeah.
to meet together just to watch Freddy Got Fingered.
Is that the infamous Richard Madeley quote? Richard Madeley said to someone, if you could throw a fishing rod through the corridors of time, you'd strangle you, wouldn't you? And I think he might have said that to Johnny Rotten, and you can see what he's getting at. It's like the younger version of you would kill them or they would kill you, and Johnny Rotten is the perfect example of that. Of you live long enough to see yourself become a butter salesman. Okay, so my next note is shaking horse stick around.
Yeah, so Freddy, Tom, Michael, Gordy is speeding down, and
he's going from Portland to Los Angeles, a journey which I have made on the Greyhound.
And much when you're on the Greyhound, it comes to
there was a horse, and I was like, "Oh my god, driver, stop this bus! Stop this bus!"
To go shake a horse penis about it. So it's number one.
Yeah.
So this is a payoff. This is a joke. You need patience and concentration. It does feel like lol random humor.
Yeah.
But again, no, it's not. The man's smart. But yeah, Next note.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think we can't gloss over this so quickly, particularly when you've tied yourself. You've like staked your colours to the mast,
absolutely.
whatever. Of like, it's an extended shot, and it's not shot tastefully. It's like he sees the horse's dick, he stops. There's like a close up of him, kind of like posing next to it, jerking it around, being like, "Oh my god, wah!" This is your settle in listeners.
Yeah, but
like settle in viewers. This is
That's my. I do think it goes on too long, right?
It goes on very long.
A lot of the film goes on too long, so you can strike that criticism throughout the whole fucking thing. But the initial reaction is what makes me like his facial expression, the screeching of the car.
Yeah,
that makes me laugh so much. The fact you were just driving along and screech the brakes.
Can you imagine if Kokomo had that? You know, when Tom Cruise is like hitching around with his army buddies to catch the Greyhound. Yeah.
Slam on. So yeah, you can rag on it. I actually think it's funny.
It's setting out its stall. Yeah. I can appreciate that it's a statement, even if it didn't personally hugely make me laugh. But something which did was when he's at the cheese sandwich factory, and I've Got to Be Me is playing over the top, like this vague sort of like Broadway anthem as he's slapping cheese onto a sandwich. And I was like, there's something going on here. Like I don't know, lots of movies try this with like the musical thing, or like Todd Phillips when he's doing like Sending the Clowns in Joker or whatever, or like Kevin Smith, like people use music, but like someone like I feel like most other filmmakers wouldn't use that sort of triumphant anthem. They would just use like a sad song or something. But the fact that there is that jarring, I think I want to give Tom credit for his musical choices. What I won't give him credit for is his like performance, because my next notes kind of tie into that. So he's just like, he's trying to be controversial. You can see it in his face in every scene. He's like a kid just trying to get a reaction. He's just like, "Hey, look, is this a note? Like, you offended by this?" Where like, I don't know what it is, but like we've spoken about these with some other Razzie projects. Whereas like, I don't know if what I'm admiring is Tom Green the writer, Tom Green the director, but like, I think this would have been better with someone else, because he's not a great actor.
He's not an actor.
He's the weak.
An actor. He's not a comedian.
Here.
He's not a writer. Like Tom Green isn't a thing. He was a host. He does some things. He could make funny. He looked weird.
Yeah.
He could pull funny faces. But there's no like, you can't compare him to like a Jim Carrey or something that would have been wacky.
Okay, now hold off. I'm gonna say even Pauly Shore might have been better.
Probably.
Because Pauly Shore fits.
Pauly Shore's a better actor.
And Pauly Shore just has this quality where you look at him and you're just infuriated.
But Pauly Shore couldn't write. You've got to think of this.
No, Pauly Shore couldn't make this, but if Tom Green cast Pauly Shore as him.
But that wouldn't. It needs to be Tom. It has to be Tom's film. It has to be.
Yeah.
If it was Pauly Shore trying to translate, it wouldn't work. Pauly Shore getting his own film. Give Pauly Shore 100 mil, 10, 15 mil. Let him go nuts. See what he does. This has to be. I never want to see it again. I don't want a sequel. I don't want any other Tom Green stuff. But I love the fact for this.
This Orson Welles thing, yeah. I just think I'm like, this could have been improved if there was like someone who's either like a better actor, or they're just more annoying. Because like he's kind of playing like that annoying cartoon character, like we've kind of spoken about with other movies. People who have that kind of like SpongeBob quality. Yeah. And Tom is good when he's like committed to like a weird physical thing.
Yes.
But when he's doing other, like whenever he's not entirely committed to a bit, he doesn't really work for me.
But that's fair, and I agree like to an extent. It's more like there is a lot of throwing shit at the wall.
Yeah.
There is. It's chaos condensed into 95 minutes or whatever, and I don't think it could be successfully done with someone else.
Okay. I have a piece of IMDb trivia for you here. When trying to capture realistic emotions for particular scenes, Tom Green liked to think about things that happened to him in his real life and focus on that moment. For example, right before they shot the scene where the ramp got smashed, Tom recalled a summer spent at camp peeing in his pants. and bed and smelling like urine all the time because he was afraid of the hornet's nest in the lavatories and too shy to go in the open outdoors.
That's funny. See, you don't get Orson Welles saying this shit, do you? You don't get... When I was trying to get an emotional feeling across, I thought about the time I peed my pants. It's cool to pee your pants. So, yeah, but this is also a man who probably hasn't been directed.
Yeah.
Like, this is where you've got to have... Like, Pauly Shore had been directed. He's been through this thing. Tom Green, 2001, is still thrust into the world. Yeah, he's been doing things.
But he's like a comedian. He's been doing like stand-up. He's been doing like sketches and performance. I feel like he should be more of a slightly polished camera.
Yeah, but it's the unhinged, we've...
Because like the Jackass guys are shit, but they're still...
Yeah, but they're not the ones behind the camera.
Okay. Okay.
There's actual people with talent there. Shepherding them around.
Okay.
If you don't if Tom Green had a shepherd, a handler,
yeah, then
something else much more. But yeah, you put Steve-O in front of his £50 million film. Yeah, this is what you're gonna get.
Okay, good point. My next note was movers and shakers. You singled that out. And that was when I realised, I was like, this looks familiar. And I looked it up. This is a Vancouver film. So obviously Vancouver, home of so many Razzie films. That's where I used to live. And I was like, Movers and Shakers is on Smith Street. Yeah. So I was like, I have been past Mover and Shakers hundreds of times.
I did think that's where he was from, because Tom Green's Canadian.
Yeah.
But no, he's not. Just looked up.
No, he's from Ontario. So I was doing a lot of Googling throughout to be like, do I know anyone who was in or worked on Freddy Got Fingered? And unfortunately, I don't think I do.
Because it comes across, so Movers and Shakers, it's a sign in the background, but then he says it twice in the film.
Yeah.
I got a job, Dad. I'm a mover and a shaker.
Yeah.
And I was like, either that's in my head, I knew it was either a cultural thing, like Canadian, or one of those Conan O'Brien, old-timey, ahoy hoy, I'm going to throw in...
Yeah, no, the Movers and Shakers is made up for this.
Yes,
it's not.
So that's why I was like, it's definitely, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Either cultural or it's something specifically ahoy hoy.
Yeah.
This outdated term that...
You don't get that? I'm
that.
constantly being like, I'm off to London to become a mover and a shaker.
Big hands on the way up, and I love old phrases, so that's fun.
We can speak about his Canadian thing now because I didn't know he was Canadian. And there were just like a couple things that sort of set my spidey sense off going through, where his pronunciation of like out and sorry and things, where I was like, hang on, he did it once where I was like, no, maybe that might just be him being weird. Then he did a couple and I was like, oh no, he's Canadian.
Yeah, like it's one of those chicken and egg. He's either trying to cover it up or make a joke out of it, or it's slipping. You can't really tell what's intentional or not.
Well, I just think it's interesting because, again, this probably just speaks to him not being like an actor or like a screen presence, because you don't really... Like, I'm trying to think of other Canadian, like, presences, and obviously there's, like, trained actors like Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling who'd have had it beaten out of them from, like, day one. But people like Mike Myers and Norm, Norm, I think, is pretty... By this point, is just ingrained as an American. You don't really get him doing any Canadianisms. No. So even like Nathan Fielder and things like that, I think Tom Green might be the most Canadian person in Hollywood.
I guess,
at least vocally.
But I think this is correlates to Scotland.
Okay.
You either are
assimilate or die.
You're either stuck with your Scotticisms or you shed that shit.
Yeah.
You're either Ewan McGregor and you're going to cling on to it and play it up, or you're
Excuse me, Anakin.
You're going to shed that shit.
Don't ever speak about that business. I'm cutting them out.
That's why I think with Canadian, your Neil Youngs feel more American, like Californian or something, than...
We're going to get a lot of hate mail about this, I think.
But
Neil Young, basically American.
But then they're going to come and think Scots is, it's the same vice versa. It's Scotland, England, Canada, America. The world's just the same.
Israel, Palestine. Why don't you all just get together in one big... no. Apologies yet again for making light of very serious world events, and obviously everyone... I'm just gonna end it saying sorry. I'm not gonna listen. Both, they're fine people on both sides, but just no. I will stop before I dig this hole any deeper. hopefully by the time this episode comes out, everything will be resolved.
Yay.
And everyone will be holding hands and dancing in a big circle.
Watching Freddy Got Fingered.
Okay, so he gets assaulted by the mover and shaker because he grabs the animation guy, because there's like an animation studio right next to... I've skipped over Drew Barrymore, I think.
Drew Barrymore is the assistant at the animation studio.
Yeah, because after leaving the cheese sandwich factory, he runs into the animation studio next door, and that's where Drew is like, "Okay, Tom, you have me for 5 minutes."
I love the lot. I love when he's trying to distract the security guard.
Yeah.
Is it Japan floors or Japan floors? Japan floors. What? Away I go. That is actually genuinely funny. Yeah, Drew Barrymore. I forgot she was here.
Yeah.
Like, I knew that she turned down the movie. I told you that, the lead.
Yeah.
She didn't want to do that, but you know. He's going to be in Charlie's Angels. She has to be here.
Yeah.
Their brief marriage. It's weird seeing them. My only note in my head is when I turned to you and said, fuck being in that household in 2001. The Tom Green, Drew Barrymore household would be the most obnoxious thing you'd ever see in your life. But it's nice seeing her here.
Yeah.
Big fan of Drew. And her scabbing ways.
Okay, so he then, he sees the guy from, the executive from the animation studio, and he follows him to Movers and Shakers.
Yes.
And
so he's got to find someone blonde. That's great when he's just going around looking for blonde people.
And he confronts him and is like, please give me a job. And he shows him his drawings.
Yeah, so that's where I was getting confused, yeah.
And the guy is like, he's just commenting on the film. It's like a meta moment where he's like, there needs to be something that happens that is actually funny.
You ticked on it. The film is very meta. The animation producer is,
and not in a soy Deadpool way.
No,
in a clever, reflective way.
I didn't notice it when I first watched it. It just feels it, and then when it was on my second viewing or third viewing, I was like, oh wait, this is about Tom Green. This movie is about the making of this movie.
Yeah, well, there's also, the drawings are pretty good, but the characters are lame, which is exactly my take on him as an actor. Is like, the stuff he's doing is good, but as a character, he's no. Yeah,
you don't get that self-awareness from most people. So
exactly. Wonderful. Yeah, it's insightful. And then I did laugh at this, which again this is just the film in microcosm, is that I laughed at what he was doing, but then it went on too long. He wasn't funny enough to make it, the initial shock value of what he's doing makes you laugh, but him doing it doesn't continue it really, because he immediately pulls out a gun. It's like, so what? I'm gonna kill myself. Is that? Oh my god, I'm gonna kill myself. You don't take my drawings. I'm gonna kill myself. And the guy's like, no, don't.
The best part of that joke for me is when, with bulging eyes and it's in his mouth, he continues talking.
Yeah.
Take it, there is again, if you had a bike or someone like a jackass person that can pull this in and reel this in. Yeah. There's genius, because there's so. A lot of my favorite jokes are the quicker ones. My biggest laugh, it's not as diminished now, is the little neighbor boy.
Okay, yeah.
The whole joke is he just continuously gets beaten the whole movie by circumstances.
Yeah.
And it's the first one when he's like, hey Gordy, how you doing? And he runs across and then just smacks into the car.
Yeah.
And it's done, quick, and the blood pouring down, and it's just, what the fuck? It just catches you off guard. You react, you laugh, and it's done. He moves away. Literally, we move on to the next fucking plot or scene or whatever's happening.
Yeah.
When, the gun one, and there's other ones, if he just trimmed it.
Yeah.
But this is, I'm going to put down...
I don't think it's that you trimmed it. I think, it's funny how long it goes on for. I just think, he's just a bit dead and vacant.
Nah.
And as things go on, it's kind of dead and vacant isn't quite right. It's just, he's, flat.
Yeah.
In a way that works in some scenes, but I think with a comedy performer, they are able to give an arc to moments or find variations and sort of modulate their performance. Whereas with Tom Wood, it's just a plank of wood.
I do agree with that. I understand. I do disagree. Sorry, because even in that gun scene, I love his facial expressions. I love how he's moving.
That's what I mean. It's he has one idea, but it just sort of stays at that one idea. Whereas someone like Sandler will give you they'll take you on a journey. Whereas Tom Green, you just arrive at the destination and then you're there.
I love Sandman for that. I don't want that all the time.
Yeah,
I do want the death. And my problem is probably that the jokes don't have that final punchline. So if you look at that gun in the mouth one,
yeah,
probably the logical, rational way would be the producer takes the gun out and he pulls another one. Right?
Yeah.
He just keeps pulling out guns or something, and you got a visual joke done.
Yeah.
But they don't really know how to end the joke, so it ends with him just go get yourself a job and like.
Yeah.
Move on to the next fucking
he
scene.
doesn't say that. He says you need to get inside the animals.
Oh yes, he does indeed.
And so,
Sophie's face dropped when he uttered that line. Sophie had just clicked on what this film was going to be.
Yeah.
And he does emphasize that, you know, you have to get inside with the animals.
Yeah.
And Sophie thought like Tom Green for a second, and her face dropped because she was like, no, and that's
that's good that Sophie went there, because I thought bestiality.
Well, that's probably what she was thinking. Like,
okay,
but that's
okay. We're going on record here. My girlfriend Sophie.
She probably did, because that's what the film like. That's. I don't know if it's intentional, but if
we've seen someone assaulting a horse,
if everyone's thinking that, then you will do a misdirection.
Yeah.
If it's intentional, it's genius.
Oh, thank God! He's just mutilating his corpse.
That's all it is.
What a relief!
Then I love it. Then I genuinely fucking love it. I think that is some shit posting I've never seen before in my life.
Yeah. So a horse is hit by.
He finds a dead
deer.
He plays it in his head. He plays it in his head. Become one with the animals.
Yeah.
Lisa needs braces.
Yeah.
And fucking hacks it open. You called out Empire at this point.
Yeah.
I got angry. He climbs in and acts like a deer.
Well, he doesn't like quite climb in. It's more that he just opens it up and wears it as a cape. Because I thought it would have been funnier if he just cut a little hole and climbed inside. Because my note was Ace Ventura did this better.
It did.
Like, he wears it like a cape. He disembowels it and slices it open.
Yeah, he does pull
and
the hand.
He kind of like wears it rather than climbing into the cavity of it, which would have been my gross out. Like, you want him covered in entrails and vanishing from sight. That
probably was intended that way.
Yeah, just practically too hard. You try and do that on a $14 million budget.
Yeah.
But
I want to buy a helicopter. Yeah.
He then gets hit by a truck, and my note for that was it's funny because he just slides. He slides for like, I don't know, 30 feet.
So that's great. Like this is probably one of like the punchiest edited jokes in the whole film.
Yeah,
so it's a great impact. It does just bang.
That's it.
Wonderful. He slides across in like a Looney Tunes kind of way, which is so fucking funny.
It's like my favorite video, like the Vine or whatever it is of Ali getting hit by the bus.
Yeah.
Listeners, there's like a little, again, next to one of my old flats in Glasgow, there's a guy who walks out onto what's it called? Great Western Road. I can't remember, one of the big streets in Glasgow. He walks out onto the road and just gets hit by a bus and like just kind of inertly flops over while his friends are like, Ali, no, Ali, oh for fuck's sake, Ali. And it's just like a comedy way that you've never seen a body react before.
It is so funny.
Which might, in the case of Ali, be death.
Yeah.
But
for Tom Green here. But what makes it, so you got the initial impact, the slide, and then you got the final punchline of him getting up and just walking away saying that was weird.
Yeah.
That's probably the best crafted joke in the film in terms of like edited, set up, punchline, boom, boom, boom. That is way too good for Tom Green. And I'm thinking, I don't know if that's a happy act. Again, one of the great things, I don't know what's intentional. It's not. Yeah. Like, if he did do it, he's a genius. If he did it, he's lucky. Either way, great.
Yeah. Anyway, my note is that he's too clean. Because when you see him afterward, when you see his face, like, in the deer, and then he's in the car or whatever, I was like, he should be, like, absolutely covered in viscera, not, like, with a bit of red face paint on his face. But my next note, wake up your baby spinning.
Oh, fantastic. So, Darren's his name, is Tom Green's best friend, childhood friend. They're building a skateboard ramp together. He has a job.
We've skipped over
in a bank. He's not important. He's just there to move and shake things along. He breaks his leg once the ramp's complete, and Gordy eggs him on. You know, we've been doing this for 20 years. Like, drop in, he breaks his leg. Tom Green licks the bone, tries to do some gross out comedy, which isn't that effective. Rip Torn comes out and raises hell. So, Tom Green goes to see Darren in the hospital with his leg break. And for some reason, his friend Darren with a broken leg is in the pregnancy ward.
Is he?
Yeah,
I thought Tom just went wandering. I
No,
didn't.
no,
Oh, okay.
no, I don't.
It's alright.
It's one of those, just like the start.
We're very near the end, and these things have melted my
Yeah.
brain, and I can no longer follow movies.
You don't. Again, I think it's like the skateboarding to a bus to get a car.
Yeah.
I just don't think about it. It's just here to play, to make a joke.
It's Tenet. Don't think. Just feel.
At this point, it feels like a sketch show.
Yeah.
And we are going to get sketch, next sketch, next sketch, next sketch, wrap it up, done.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he's visiting Darren, and the woman next to him starts to go into labour.
Yeah.
And obviously there's no nurses. Tom Green's on hand. Tom Green's going to deliver this baby.
Yeah.
I great laugh as well. I love it when he's looking at it. I can see it, you know. The baby comes out. The baby isn't awake, though. There is somewhere I read years ago that the baby was dead at first.
Ooh.
And that explains why they start chanting.
Yeah.
You know, the two other ladies start doing like their rhythm drums.
Yeah.
It's more of a ritual when you think about it.
Yeah.
But audience backlash was like, oh no shit, no, the baby's sleeping and I have to wake the baby up.
Yeah, cartoonishly, like swinging a dead baby. You just say the phrase "dead baby" and I tune out because I'm like edgelord, shock jock, whatever you're
100%.
trying to. But if it's just a cartoonish man swinging a baby, like I'll assume that I'm like, okay, that's funny.
Which is funny.
Cartoonish.
It is, So I don't know how true
We're not
that,
in the
I don't know
normal
how true that
grounded
is.
world. Yeah.
I don't know how much was changed after editing or they just released it. Like this was all just things I read years ago.
Yeah.
But it is funnier now because they wake up, baby.
Yeah.
I'm just swinging it around.
And again, I don't think facially, like I don't think he's that good a performer. But when he's in a wide shot and it's just a shot of a man swinging a baby in massive
It's also good because it's got the it's got the two ladies chanting, playing drums. Totally uninterested. The mother is just saying, "Give me my baby. Please just give me my baby." And Darren, the friend, has got the what the fuck. He's got the real. This is actually my reaction if this was real. Like put the fucking baby down kind of thing. Tom Green's just swinging it round on the umbilical cord. Bites open the cord once the baby's awake as well, which is fucking great. The level of gross I like that's funny without being
over the top.
That's the line. Biting the umbilical cord is my line. Yeah, it's a famous scene, but it is funny. You both of you laughed, and I was on laughing like control at this time. It's like count is 6. He loves the film.
Just walking down the ward, twirling your baton. Okay, next we get the introduction of Betty.
Yes.
So
I don't like Betty, so I'm gonna pass it off to you.
Okay, so Betty is a woman in a wheelchair. How do they meet?
He asks her on a date.
But how do they?
She's behind. Is she at a bank or something? Is she at the bank?
Oh yeah, she's at the bank.
There's only like 6 locations, so she's at one of them. He doesn't know she's disabled.
Yeah.
But then he's okay with it.
Yeah.
It's his dad that's not okay with it.
A cool, progressive, forwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they then go on a date, which is just like straight back to hers, kind of, and she's like, "Oh, like cane me, cane my legs with this stick," and he does it, and she's like, "That's fantastic. Let's switch." And I think he's like, "Okay, I'm prepared to be caned." And she's like, "No, I'm gonna give you a blowjob," and he's like, "Oh no, oh no, oh no." And then she lifts up his shirt and discovers that he has an umbilical cord taped to him. And she's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "It's my umbilical cord." And she's like, "It's taped to you." And he's like, "Yeah, I know." And then she gives him a blowjob, and like the camera moves away to a series of like not triptych because there's 4 I think, but like a photo series of the Eiffel Tower in construction, which I was like, I don't like this because we'd seen that already and it was obvious that was like it's like in an old cartoon when you can tell what's gonna move because it's drawn differently. I was like, in the high watermark of The Simpsons with their oil, their oil towers, I was like, this isn't, I think you could have found a better way of cutting to a train going into a tunnel. But anyway, not to pick nits, because my next note is maybe one of my biggest laughs in the film, which again validates my theory that Tom Green is funniest when he's like doing things, or he's just kind of like a mannequin that's in the middle of a funny situation. because Rip Torn is like trying to get him out of the shower, and so he fucks with the. Like, he turns off the hot water, doesn't he? And then he starts running the cold taps, and he's like, what? He should be screaming, like, why is he still... And then he goes and he pulls back the curtain, and he sees that Thomas Green is in the shower in a full scuba cap.
Going scuba diving, Daddy. I'm looking for treasures.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because he's got the soap, isn't he? I found a treasure, Daddy. And Rip Torn is just... furious, and what made me laugh because it really took me by surprise is Rip Torn just immediately throws him through the glass shower curtain.
And there's no beat. It's like
it's
missing
just
another beat.
Yeah.
That's why I like the kid hitting the car.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't. Any other fucking writer would like
Family Guy.
Yeah, there'd be
like,
a stumble or there'd be something. No, this is just boom, instant impact, move on.
Yeah.
And Rip Torn just fucking yeets him through the shower, and then puts his head. His head goes in the toilet because he drops the treasure.
Yeah.
And his daddy and my treasure fell down the water cave. I've got to go get it. And it is fucking like describing that out loud is so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I love it. That's a very good scene.
Yeah. Well, this was where my note was just like the movie kind of made me sad because just like I don't know if it's just like generationally where we come from, but I was like, you don't get these kinds of things anymore. I was like shedding a tear for the death of the slacker comedy because I was
this is the death of a lot of things. So like
slacker,
like you can't release something after this really. Like this is topped everything. It's one of those big blowouts. It's one of those like it's a end of genre movie. They're rare these days.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. Like people always speak about like like the westerns and superhero movies, and I'm like. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh, maybe my spiritual home is as much as I hate him, Kevin Smith. It is Richard Linklater. It is just these like,
comedies,
it's Sandman. It's these just fail sons, just lounging around, living an easy life, and getting thrown through the shower curtain by their father.
Fair.
And of all the characters I relate to, it's a fuck up son. He's just like sitting on his ass all day, being like, "Gotta do my podcast, Daddy." So yeah, I don't know. It was kind of this is my Unforgiven, I think, is what we're we're learning. And then my next note is Backwards Man.
Backwards Man.
Do you have anything in between?
Anything backwards as fast as you can.
So stuff happens in between, obviously.
Yeah.
Because we're just going from one Rip Torn scene to another.
Rip Torn. We're gonna quickly talk about him. He's fucking great.
He's so good.
He's so fucking good. He's the MVP.
He's the best performance in the film.
He's the funniest. He is the man. If it wasn't for Rip Torn, this would be a much, much harder movie.
Yeah.
But he is fantastic. The whole thing, and why you're relating to Tom Green, I'm relating to Rip Torn because he's got this like.
You've changed, man.
No,
you used to be.
Because he's not. No, because he's got he's got this like great unintentional where it's like. You gotta get a job. You gotta get a piece of being a bum, and then a second later, he's like, proud of you. You got a suit. You can. Here's $100.
Well, that's just what makes it is as the bar is so low. It's like I'm not asking for much. Like it's not one of those like I don't like those like abusive fathers who you will never win the approval of. It's just like the bare minimum of like you got up before 10 today, son. I'm proud of you.
And I love that, and then mixing that with the amount of anger. Like it does like escalate. He isn't as angry. Like at this point, it's like the physical, and it's Rip Torn is having so much fucking fun.
Yeah. Well, a note at IMDb trivia said that like Tom Green expected everyone to do their own stunts, so Rip Torn had to do everything. Yeah. Which like credit to him for throwing him through the glass because that's like. It's like a wrestling. It's like a lifting.
And there's a lot of things. There's a lot. Like, that's Tom Green skateboarding, even through it. Like this is what I mean by the inexperience isn't obvious. Like you can't tell this is not a filmmaker making a film.
Yeah,
it still looks like it, and there's still things you're like that's impressive.
Yeah,
that again a Kevin Smith wouldn't do. So yeah, fair play. Rip Torn's fantastic. Where were we? Backwards Man.
Yeah, so something must happen in between because last time we saw him, he was like drowning him in the toilet. He's
quit the sandwich factory at this point. I don't know if he's back at the second sandwich place. But no, that's a bit later on. But yeah, basically he's moved back home to Portland with his parents. They're all fucking furious and disappointed. And Rip Torn, so you get a job if you're finally you have to get a fucking real job if you can't be an animator.
Yeah.
So Tom Green is standing in front of the mirror in his dad's suit wearing
Well, no, because you just hear like
you
Rip
hear,
Torn's like
Yeah.
walking down the corridor, enjoying like he'd just been enjoying having like both of his sons have kind of moved out, and he just hears something, and then goes to his room, and what is it? He's like, I'm back to it, and then he goes into the room, and what does he see?
He sees
Tom Green in front of the mirror,
suit backwards, singing the Backwards Man song, doing the Backwards Man dance. You can't, like, honestly, just watch it. Like, I don't think us explaining this joke will do any justice.
We're not going to do justice.
It's just genuine. This was maybe your biggest laugh. Like, and like I could tell you and Sophie were not wanting to laugh at this.
No,
like,
I'm having to laugh at the Backwards Man.
Like she was like, I know this is too stupid, but it's.
That's the kind of Sandman cockable stuff I love.
It's just the physical comedy where he is weird, he's gangly and strange. And when he gets to be weird and movements, like,
you're right. This is when he's kind of in his own as a performer.
Be a weirdo, just make it like. Yeah, fantastic.
Like when it's something he can throw himself into,
And it's got a good. I like the ending of it, but where finally got a job. I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
working with computers. I do computers. I work at the computer business, but I need $50 for computer supplies. Here's $100, son. Why not keep it all? Fantastic.
This is where I feel bad, like criticizing him because, like I like his line deliveries. I like the earnestness of like whenever he talks to his dad, and he is very childlike in his. I'm gonna do computers, Dad. like Tom Green. I don't think he's good performance physically, facially in parts, but I don't want to recast him because he does bring so many incredible qualities to the role.
It's really the best. Where I do agree is when he's with Rip.
Yeah.
When
he's just playing like a 5-year-old boy. Basically,
their dynamic their chemistry and dynamic is fantastic. When he is with like a Darren or Drew Barrymore, it shows. When you're
Rip anchors him and gives him something to bounce off.
Yes. Like it should have maybe been a buddy cop. Let Rip and him go through it. But yeah, fantastic.
Okay, my next note, I asked you, is that Patrick Leahy, the Batman senator? The senator for Vermont who loves Batman, the senator for Vermont who isn't Bernie Sanders and loves Batman. And so he's in The Dark Knight as you remind me of my father. I hated my father. That's his kind of most notable one, but he gives a lot of money to DC, or to charity, I think, and DC allow him to be in Batman films, because he's in, like, BVS, and he's in, like, one of the Schumacher ones as well, I think. But yeah, he's a very, like, unique looking guy, and I thought that was him for a second, which I would love. We just make him an even more interesting figure if he's like, my two biggest loves, Batman and Freddy Got Fingered.
Now, if Batman got fingered, now we're talking.
Kevin Smith somewhere, his ears perking up. Okay, this is, as much as I've been shouting him out, this is kind of like one of the missed opportunities. Who is it that he's talking to? Is it Betty? When he's speaking about, like, you can't just draw, you need to...
So yeah, he's out of ideas. He's got nothing. Can't write, can't draw, because life's gone to shit. So Betty says you just...
do something to take your mind off.
Just chill,
it,
chill out. Listen to some music, eat some food.
Yeah.
And,
play music.
She's
like, do something, like, eat food, play music, like, and then you can draw or whatever. Yeah. Just, like, take care of your needs. And this would have been infinitely funnier if you had just cut to it with a minimum amount of stress. If she'd just been like, eat food, play music, and draw, whatever. But instead, he repeats like, eat food, play music, and draw. Yeah. Eat food, play music, and draw. How am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to do that all at the same time? And then you cut to, he's like got what? Like,
so this is the most iconic scene in the film.
Yeah.
This was parroted on the playground back in the day when I was a kid.
Really?
Just Daddy, would you like some sausage?
Yeah.
Daddy,
of course. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
So yeah, Tom Green is playing the piano, the keyboard with sausages on strings, so you can eat them while he's playing, and you can draw at the same time.
And he's got bacon kind of taped to the side of his head, like dog ears, like big floppy dog ears.
So like, and this is probably overhyped. I will agree. I don't think this is as funny. Maybe when I was 10.
I think we're underselling it. I think he looks like a serial killer get-up. Like he has
great.
so many sausages. Like it's a great piece of production design because there's meat dangling from the ceiling.
And my favorite
strings.
part of the joke is when Dad and the friend comes in and he's just, it looks like he's looking around like Silence of the Lambs den
exactly.
or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck's going on here? And he's like, oh, he told me to eat, draw, and play music. This is when Dad sees these sketches he's been doing, which are Angry Dad. It's The Simpsons was exactly what I thought of. I was like, yeah, this is going to turn into The Simpsons. He's like, this is good. This is a character. Your dad's a character, blah, blah, blah. A great little laugh as well is when they come home and Darren's like, oh shit, your dad's home. Like this 30-year-old man has to hobble out before he gets battered again. Lovely little thing. I love seeing Rip Torn coming in, smashes the piano.
Yeah. This is where I was like, you're just rooting for Rip Torn to murder him at this point in time because it's coming. And so you're like, I know whose side I'm on if I have to take one. And so Rip Torn like throws him around, and then Freddy is like...
Well, Rip Torn gets so angry, he leaves and destroys the half pipe.
Yeah.
That's the emotional scene that Tom Green had to prepare himself mentally.
Recalling pissing himself. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And yes, so this is it, you're out, like, get done. You've gone too far.
Rip Torn drives away, and Freddy Tommy is left with his mother, and he encourages her to leave him.
It's great. This is probably the best dialogue joke he's ever wrote. If I was you, I'd leave him. I'd divorce him. You shouldn't have to put up with this anymore, Mom. Like the way he treats us, I wouldn't put up with that. If I was you, I'd go out and
I'd have sex with Greeks.
I'd have sex with other men. I'd explore. I'd find out what I am. I'd have sex with Greek men from Greece.
And then what? Basketball players.
One?
Yeah. And his mother kind of like brushes him off. And then we're into the next scene, which I don't know what comes in between, but my next one is the accusation.
Yeah, so they're in like
they're in like therapy, aren't they?
Family therapy to try and the three of them. Freddy's not here. Freddy's at home in his own house.
Yeah.
So she's trying to take. I can't remember. She's trying to take sides as therapist, but basically it comes down to. The reason Rip Torn's such a bad dad is because he molested Freddy. Freddy got fingered. He put his finger in his bum.
Well, he's like, he starts off being like, it builds to that crescendo. He's like, he does stuff to my brother. He does things to my brother. He takes him alone and he shuts the curtains and he touches him and he fingered Freddy. Yeah. And like that's where I was like, oh, okay, so this is where the title comes from. And then Rip Torn is kind of like, what? No, I didn't. And meanwhile, like the therapist kind of leans in. It's kind of like, oh well, we need to take these like accusations seriously. And that was where I was like, is the rest of the movie going to play out as Thomas Vinterberg's The Hunt, where we'll just learn how impossible it is, like no smoke without fire, or how like Rip Torn's life is just going to be reshaped by these accusations that he abused his son. And then Freddy jumps out the window. Rip's trying to murder him, isn't he? Is this why you little?
No, he's going to. Yeah, he's got that why little, but he isn't ready to murder him.
Yeah.
Freddy's standing next to the window. He picks up a bust of like Freud or something.
Yeah.
Throws it through the window.
Yeah.
Jumps out the window and then and it's like a 2-foot drop as well. Like it's just like onto a staircase and away he goes. Fantastic.
So this is another moment that I want to shout out Tom Green for, because what we're learning is, despite me slamming him originally, there are so many strings to his bow, because he really makes me laugh in his delivery of the line, "A child molester?" he drags out the word child.
Yeah, you can, again, it can be great for a full movie, but like his deliveries on certain things. Like that's what I'm thinking when he put his finger in his bum. Like there's like 4 vowels in bum. I love that. Like, good on him.
Okay, and then Freddy, Tom, Michael heads back to his job at the sandwich place. What's it called?
This is the new sandwich place.
Yeah, the Portland sandwich one.
Yeah, the one I think looks like Movies from Clerks 2.
It does, yeah. It's like submarine or subs and whatever.
It's a great. I love it's great because he cuts and he's cleaning up, he's mopping up.
Yeah.
And I think it's a fun joke where he's just mopping the tables, like cleaning off all the cutlery and all the little napkins. I think that's just a wonderful little joke.
Well, this is where, interestingly, we go straight from the child molester scene to him at work. And I have a little bit of personal trivia for you.
Oh.
I can't remember if I've ever told you. When I was in Canada, when I was in Vancouver, I worked with a paedophile who was caught in a sting operation at a Subway shop. Like,
Jared.
Yeah, well, that was, I know exactly. It's incredible irony. But what the really funny thing is, he was caught by Chilliwack creep catchers. Like, they were sort of amateur to catch a predator guys. And they would record their videos and put them online on their website. And so I went down the rabbit hole of just watching a bunch of them. And they always lured, like, predators into meeting at the same Subway. And so I was like, how dumb are these people? Because it should be like, oh, well, you know, like, don't go meeting any strange children. Like, if a child invites you to get into the back of their van or invites you to share a 6-inch hearty Italian at Subway, don't you go. Don't go meeting strange children from the internet again. You know what happened to, I'm not going to say his name, Michael. Yeah, so anyway, a little bit of personal trivia there. My next note, he's much more charismatic as a cartoon. Because we then get his zebra family cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
Zebras in America.
The Rick and Morty special.
Well, yeah, you said it. And I was already, like, he was very Roiland-esque, but that cartoon is so Justin Roiland. Yeah, it's like, hey, look at me, I'm a zebra, I'm the house, I'm a part human, I'm a part zebra, and we're moving to, it's the Solar Opposites intro. We're moving to the America, and
it's Solar Opposites, but zebras.
Yeah.
They're centaurs, you know. They're half horse. And they're not accepted by the horses or the people. I love that. Like, I like his like faux rambling.
Yeah.
You know, he's very good at making it sound like he's making it up on the spot.
Yeah.
That is a talent. It is funny. I do agree. This is when he's shown it to Anthony Michael Hall, who's enamored by it. He wins. He's great. He's like, it's not believable though. You know, like no one's like this, but I like it. It's a nice idea, but no one's believable.
Yeah.
Then Rip Torn tears into the office, starts smacking around Tom Green, chases Anthony Michael Hall around the table, which is fun.
Like. Yeah, so you mentioned Anthony Michael Hall being enamored. I'll just give you some more IMDb trivia here. During filming, Anthony Michael Hall said of both Tom Green and the film, off camera, he's very quiet. He'd often be walking around quietly, twirling his hair while thinking about his next shot. I think the guy's a genius. I think the guy's a social hypnotist. I think he's incredible. He's on to something big time. If this doesn't make $100 million, something's wrong. I smell a sequel.
No, man. Anthony Michael Hall and me, like, we fucking get it.
Ask him about The Dark Knight.
Talking about Chevy Chase for 6 hours, mate.
Okay, and we then go into the SWAT sequence, I think, don't we? So the Zebras in America gets greenlit and he gets handed...
He's handed a check for $1 million.
Yeah,
Do not hand Tom Green a check for $1 million.
Yeah.
So now the meta movie really begins as well. Yeah. Because the first thing he does is run out and buy... Well, he goes and cashes it into his friend in the bank.
Yeah.
Who is now in like full brace. Everyone's just getting battered in this film.
Yeah.
The little subplot that's missed here I enjoy is when the therapist comes to pick up Freddy because they've got to take the allegations very seriously. So her and an officer arrive at his house and they take it's okay and they take him for the school for kids that have been molested.
Yeah, he gets taken to like a halfway home. And,
but it's got a name on the front. It is for like the school for molested children or something.
Yeah, the Xavier Institute.
They're all skipping around singing, and there he is sitting there on the sofa like a grown man. And I love the joke where there's a little boy next to him and he's like, you got fingered, and he's like, no, I didn't. The little boy puts his hand on his knee and he's like, it's okay, man. I get it, man, it's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's so fucking stupid, but it's worth almost the title. Like the whole stupid accusing Rip Torn of all of it is stupid. None of it makes sense, but it's to get to this joke. Is like, I can see I want to have a molested old man sitting there like being treated as a child. That is great, and I do want to call out that. So anyway, back on though, Tom Green now has $1 million. he goes to the bank. What the first thing he's going to do? He goes and buys jewels to give to Betty.
Yeah.
I got you all these jewels. He rents a helicopter.
Does he deliver the jewels by helicopter?
He does,
yes.
yeah.
So she's
he
just
does.
in her apartment.
Well, yeah.
She's in her Vancouver high-rise, and then she hears like Ride of the Valkyries or whatever, and then the helicopter comes in.
And there's some great shots here as well. Like I love seeing a real helicopter.
Yeah, and he's like Tom Cruise. He's like hanging out.
Tom Green is actually hanging there.
Yeah,
like, he's got a megaphone. Yeah, I'm so happy. Like This is where I'm relating because this is what I would do. I'm good. When else am I getting to ride a helicopter and scream on stuff like this? They land, and he gives her the jewel. I bought you these jewels, Betty. Yeah. She's like, I didn't want jewels. I just wanted to suck your cock. Yeah. Oh well, never mind then. Got a helicopter and he just flies off. It's so fucking bizarre. I love it. I fucking love it. And then the next scene is
the SWAT scene. Is it?
Is it?
Well, I'm trying to think what he does with the money.
Take us through the SWAT.
Anyway, you then see a man in like SWAT gear, so like balaclava, whatever, black tactical outfit. No prizes for guessing who it is, but you see a SWAT officer sneaking into the Torn household with like a rifle and sneaking into Rip Torn's bedroom, pointing like a laser sight at him. And I was like, this movie is like incredibly Freudian. Like, as like killing the father, literally. That's what we're gonna get. I was fully prepared for him just to blow his head off, but he hits him with a tranquilizer dart. Which
is funny because he's doing the laser scope to get a headshot. Just darts him. Again, it's that misdirection where I'm like idiot or genius. Either way, I'm laughing.
Yeah. And then
it cuts. No, you're missing the bit in between.
The setup of the foreman.
This is going to be, and this is great. This is meta. This is going to be very expensive, Tom Green. There's other ways we can do this.
Yeah.
This is really
exactly. Yeah, they've made it clear.
This is the way I want to do it.
Exactly. Yeah, they've had conversations about like we can green screen this and we don't have to actually do this for real. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, Chris Nolan-esque visionary Tom Green is like, no, it must be done exactly to my specifications, even if that costs the rest of my $1 million check. And so we also failed to establish that, like, he's like, Rip Torn has been hitting him throughout the film, like, you're 28 and you don't have a goddamn job. If you were 4, in Pakistan, you'd be sewing soccer balls by now, or sewing footballs by now. And so Tom Green knocks his father out in order to transport him to Pakistan.
The entire
where the house is on like a stilt, like something out of Dr. Seuss or like Lemony.
When they moved the Simpsons.
I couldn't think of.
They moved the house across.
But it's on like a piece of it's on like a stilt basically. Like it's balancing precariously. Like they've cut up the earth around it and moved the house wholesale. And then the two of them are in Pakistan. And do you want to take it from here?
Well, Rip Torn wakes confused. He doesn't know where he is. Where am I? Where's my son?
Yeah.
And so he goes to find his son. Yeah. And the payoff. So the three build up of the horse cock all leads up to this. We've seen it. We've touched it. Now we're going to use it. But it's an elephant. So it is a bit of a misdirection. Tom Green. Well, it's pretty easy to say, isn't it? He ejaculates at...
No, you need to set up before. They're being chased. Like...
Does he? Does he not just try and run in to find him?
No, like there's a whole scene of like he's getting away.
I thought it was after.
No, I'm sure that's the cool down.
Because then they lie down.
Like it's like his dad's like irate, like what the fuck have you done, and is like gonna kill him. He's chasing him through Pakistan, and there's a whole big chase.
I zoned out at the Pakistan chase because I don't like it. Because they're running around California with a fucking trying to make it look like the Middle East. I'm not invested.
Well, they've at least tricked you that it's California because it was likely Vancouver. Like if we can just keep the mountain and some of the greenery out of it, that would be ideal.
What's in Pakistan?
So he's running away, trying to get away from his father's murderous rage, and he looks into a tent, and there is probably like a juvenile elephant, or maybe not like a full scale African elephant. There's like an elephant that's small enough to fit in a tent, but nevertheless large enough to have a gigantic penis which stretches to the ground. And so Tom kind of looks at it and is like, oh no, I'm gonna go and hide in there or whatever. So he goes, and Rip Torn is pursuing him, and he comes to the entry of the tent, And Tom Green has been furiously wanking off this elephant until it...
It's funnier when you deadpan, like, describe it.
Yeah,
it's just furiously wanking off this elephant. Emotionless.
It's like the newsreader reading Poker Face. Yeah, until it ejaculates with the force of a fire hose all over Rip Torn, shooting him out of the tent, and he is then flat out on his back, and that is when Tom Green goes to him and they have their father-son heart-to-heart.
Bonding moment.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly.
And again, my observation to you was, I was like, Rip Torn is not covered in enough cum because his shirt looks like someone's thrown a bucket of paint over it, and there's some like kind of like lightly dabbed on his cheek, when I was like, that is not consistent with the amount of fluid which he was covered in.
But as you said, because they did their own stunts, Rip Torn took the brunt of it. I'm imagining this is just like take 10. It's
quick for sure. Obviously, the makeup department is
I don't think it's a Rip Torn saying I'm not going to get covered. I think he was, and then it's come off, and shit, Tom Green didn't have enough to buy another gallon.
Well, yeah, same things with the deer. It's just like this is the easy way to do it practically for filming, is you can get it consistent if there's just less of it. Otherwise, you're there for a while and they're just constantly reapplying. Like you need to look soaking wet and whatever. So yeah. And so they have their big heart-to-heart moment.
They do, yeah.
Do you have anything to say about that?
I don't know.
I'm out of notes, so I have nothing to say from here until the end.
I don't really. I think this is just, it's fine. It's wrap up. Yep. Like, I'm okay here.
Yeah, great.
Yep.
And so, why is it they then get the beards and the long hair?
Because they're stuck in Pakistan.
Yeah, so they're just stuck in Pakistan together.
I bought Jules.
They can't get back.
I bought Jules a helicopter, and now I've got no money.
Unlike Bruce Wayne emerging from the pit when he just somehow makes it back to Gotham in a second. They're like, well, we're in the Middle East now, and we can't get back.
They got to play Russian roulette.
Yeah.
Their mum sees it on TV when she's sleeping in bed with Shaq. So she's finally got with basketball players.
Nice little payoff there to that gag.
Freddy gets to watch it in the same home. He also has a giant beard
his hair in solidarity.
Yeah, that's...
Because I asked you, I was like, how long are they there? Because obviously with the pandemic and with my habits of getting like my hair shorn off every now and then like a sheep, I have like a reasonably good idea of how quickly hair grows. And I was like, they've been in Pakistan for over a year. But
in that time she got together with Shaq.
Yeah.
Freddy hasn't left the sofa, but who cares?
Who cares? Suspension of disbelief. It's heightened rules, not our real reality. Time's different, and so they make it back to America, and there is a big Heroes Welcome. There, a Canadian marching band is playing like the U.S. national anthem as they come off the plane. Everyone's there cheering to greet them. And what's her name? Betty is like, "Oh, thank God, I can give you another blowjob." And everyone's happy, and then the
little kid gets he runs to greet Gordy's hero and gets sucked up into the airplane engine, and gets splat. Like, it's a great right across everyone.
It's the Indiana Jones propeller guy. If you just see blood,
Again, I pointed out at the time somewhere I read that after you hear the kid shout, "I'm okay, Dad."
Yeah,
I believe that was after gasps from the audience. Tom Green just slapped that in post that the kid didn't die, but it does make it a funnier joke.
Exactly.
Intentional, genius, or idiot. It's one of those things again. Play some pop punk and write us out. Like, here we go, show us those credits.
Yeah. Okay, so that concludes Freddy Got Fingered. I have some bits of trivia for you. So Marissa Coughlan played Betty, and it says when she took her parents to the premiere of this film, her father hated it so much that he started writing screenplays for her the next day. 5 years later, Marissa got a recurring role in Boston Legal. Her father died before she booked the show, but she knows how proud he would have been to see her on a normal TV show.
Yeah, I did say it to you. Like, so the Drew Barrymore, I know she turned down or too busy, can't do my husband's job. So the only thing I knew was that the girl hated doing this. I think Tom Green spoke about it. I think that's why I think he maybe on his interviews or podcasts or something. But you can tell there's certain like things she's grimacing to having to deliver the lines. Yeah. She does not want to be there. I don't think she needs to be there. Like, It's probably my biggest problem with the film.
I don't know. I like it as like a parody of these kind of like man-child comedies. So like I think something has to be there. I like the romantic subplot. Just like if this is like one of those Sandman films, we need our Vicky Valancourt.
But this is not a Sandman film.
Okay, but it's a parody of all the films of the era.
Yeah.
I should have told you this earlier in our budget section. Many people, even Tom Green himself, are shocked that this film was made on a budget, saw a wide theatre release and got backed by a major studio. How this movie was made was that Tom Green was getting popular with teens due to the success of his TV show. His role in Road Trip got the attention of movie producers. He was being sent scripts by big movie studios, but he didn't want to make them. He instead wanted to write a script to give them. He wrote Freddy Got Fingered and initially sold the script to Disney, but they refused to give Tom creative control. Disney put it in turnaround, then 20th Century Fox Regency bought it the next day, and it goes on from there. An ironic twist, Disney would acquire 20th Century Fox 2 decades later. So is Freddy officially a Disney princess?
I don't think he's on Disney Plus though. I don't think Freddy Got Fingered is on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Give me 2 seconds.
Just the idea of this, like the idea of like Disney, the fact that like Disney didn't give him creative control. Like, just the fact that they even considered it, like, even a neutered version of this film, it's fascinating that that was even something.
No, it's not on Disney Plus. It's not on Blu-ray. It's not got a re-release yet. Like, this is, you can rent it, you can get it on Amazon and stuff. Like, I do recommend people do, but probably just message Tom himself and see if you can get a copy again. Like, try and get the director's cut that I've been clamoring for all these years. So
other bits of trivia I like, there was apparently a PG cut that was released which was 2 minutes long, and the DVD includes an alternate audio track with the first half of the movie synced up to an audio recording of the attendees' reaction at the film's world premiere. Audience laughter became very sparse after the first few minutes. Most were reviled by the horse scene.
That's amazing. That is genius. Again, I've swung from the imbecile to genius again.
Yeah. So another piece I like. Filming was interrupted by an irate hot dog seller who refused to move his cart out of the way. He eventually moved for $2,000, a check that was later cancelled. Because obviously, like, I have tremendous amounts of sympathy for people in cities who, like, you don't have to bend backwards just because, like, filmmakers take over cities. Like, I have incredible amounts of empathy for the disruption that filming can cause, but at the same time, when you're trying to make something and then people are just like extorting you, like, all I'm asking, and I'm speaking obviously on the no budget level, is like, I'm not asking you to detour or to like stop walking down the street. All I'm asking is that you do not walk out of your way to walk in front of my camera and stand directly in front of the lens looking into it. And then people are like, well, it's going to cost you $2,000. So Tom Green cancelling that check, that's just...
And it would be Tom. Like, Tom would have been the one speaking to the hot dog car.
Yeah, and then just like, make sure that bounces. Because you don't get to $1 million. But
It would almost also been funny if it didn't cancel and it's what tipped the budget.
Yeah. And so the final piece of trivia for you here is like a kind of interesting story. In March 2016, James Myers of Concord, North Carolina, was driving his 10-year-old daughter to school when a police officer pulled him over for a broken brake light. When the officer ran his license, he found a 14-year-old arrest warrant for failing to return a VHS copy of this movie, rented in February 2002. The officer let Myers go and told him to show up later at the police station. At the station, Myers was taken to a magistrate's office, patted down and put in handcuffs. He was ordered to appear in court the next month to answer a charge of failure to return rental property, a misdemeanor. The video store closed down, the tape was missing, and the state had to prove that Myers intended to steal the tape. The story went viral. One Wednesday night, while Myers rewatched this movie, his phone rang. On the other end, a voice chanted, "Daddy, would you like some sausage?" It was Tom Green who told Myers he would help with his legal fees.
Oh, Tom Green, my boy. That's one little thing I want to end on, is Tom Green the person being a very genuine, like, down to earth recluse man now that lives in his farm with his animals and his dogs. I support Tom Green. Like, he still does things. He still makes things. He makes music and stuff. He's
He has a
talented.
Patreon where you can pay
Honestly,
$3,000 a year to be a cameo in his next film.
Of all the people on that are eligible to come on this podcast, there's no one I'd rather watch films with than Tom Green.
Yeah.
I want to shout out Tom Green in general. I think he's a stand-up guy.
Yeah. Everything that I've read about him in the
rare,
research of this suggests.
Because you watch this and you don't think that, you're going to be like...
Well, particularly things like the dead baby and the kid getting kicked into the propeller. It's like this film isn't mean. Like, it's not cruel. It's not. Like, it's absurd. And it's not dark. It's not trying to, like... It's not being edgy or trying to trigger people or anything. It is just zany and surreal and absurd. Yep. And a lot of time and respect for Tom Green. Amazing. Finally, French title for the film translates as "Go and fuck yourself, Freddy." What's Freddy done to deserve that?
Yeah,
get molested and the French tell them to go fuck themselves. Well, we obviously, of course, know they're big fans of Polanski, so no time for victims in France. Okay. So we've kind of had a bit of a love-in for this film. Do you think it's Razzie-worthy?
No, it's my favourite film on this podcast.
Really?
Razzies.
Yeah.
Like, so I always say my three pillars: Rambo, Star Trek, and Freddy.
Yeah.
Star Trek obviously has a special place no matter what.
Yeah.
Rambo because it's Rambo, but this, unironically, standalone, is my favourite of the Razzies. I think this is incredibly funny, unique. Both the film and what the film is about. I'd love to watch a documentary on this. I'd love to have I'd read a book from Tom Green about making this. Yeah. Like, give me a disaster artist style. There's so much about this I love. I don't want any of it to be Razzie nominated. Yeah. Betty is the only one I'm gonna give her.
Are you Mr. Razzie? You just hate women. She's fine. She's not good, but she's not bad.
No
one in the film is bad.
No one isn't. But if you're gonna pick on someone, it's gonna be her or Anthony Michael Hall.
But you don't have to pick on her. No, Freddy could have been better, I think, maybe.
I don't think anything's Razzie worthy though.
Exactly.
As for me saying,
I'm disputing your premise that something needs to be.
If I have to find something, I will pick that. But I top to bottom, I love this film. I recommend it. I don't recommend much on this podcast, but I think
super cut. So I'll be like, I recommend. I personally recommend. I recommend.
But it's me going like, I recommend Poltergeist 2 or some shit. Isn't it? Like, Shining 3's alright. I think people should see this if you think you would like it.
Yeah. You should probably time travel back down the corridor of time with Richard Madeley and watch it before listening, because we spoil a lot of it.
We do, but like, you could go.
It's not like it won't be funny to then see it. It is better seen than are describing it, and it's not like we take away, because a lot of it is anyway.
But anyway, I love it. So no Razzies for me.
Yeah, this is like, I don't love it as much as you. Like, it drags in places. Like, I don't think this isn't the best version of what it could have been. I think a Freddy Got Fingered that is a masterpiece could have been made, but like, I like it. It has its charms. I can appreciate what it's going for. I don't think it's Razzie worthy. It's like, this is certainly probably the most I have laughed earnestly at any Razzie film. Other ones I've been laughing like at the film rather than with the film. Or it's been dumb stuff like, oh, it's a funny voice that the Sandman has done before. Whereas these are just objective, work without context laughs. So we will now bring this love-in to a close by handing over to Mr. Razzie, who, unsurprisingly, not a fan of this film.
Who'd have thunk it?
So, right. So first off, it won Worst Picture, obviously. Then Tom Green won Worst Actor for Freddy Got Fingered as Gordon Gord Brody.
No, big no for me.
Yeah, I've voiced my criticisms of his performance, but he is far, far from the worst performances of the year. And not nomination worthy, never mind win. We then have a nomination for Rip Torn, Worst Supporting Actor as Jim Brody, which is just obscene because Rip Torn is great.
Absolutely. This is the best Rip Torn performance. Rip Torn. This is him. He is so good.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. And then Worst Supporting Actress nomination for Drew Barrymore in Freddy Got Fingered as Davidson's receptionist. Cameo. How on earth do you think she's bad? Like, she has so little screen time. What does she do?
The only time she slightly annoys me is when she mugs with Tom Green for a minute.
Okay.
You know, when they're both... That's probably when I said imagine being in the house, because they're both doing wacky voices and faces.
Yeah.
But that's them as people.
Yeah.
And nothing to do with their performance. She's a cameo. She's barely in it. Like, yeah, no.
Then also Julie Haggerty in Freddy Got Fingered as Julie Brody. So...
The mum, I assume, right?
Yeah, so we've missed out. We've missed out, Betty. Mr. Razzie spared.
Fair enough. The mum's fine, absolutely perfect.
Yeah,
exactly.
Unremarkable, not a particularly interesting character, doesn't get much to do, but nothing to.
But even when he's doing the sex with Greeks, she does.
She's good.
She also has that little, when you can tell she's contemplating it. There's a little twinkle. She's like, actually.
True, yeah. And in bed with Shaq, like she doesn't get much, but what she does, she does get. She doesn't. Yeah. And
when she's accusing Rip Torn of being a paedophile, that's fun. As well.
Yeah, exactly.
No, she's good.
Yeah. Talked me around to it. Worst screen couple, win for Tom Green and any animal he abuses in Freddy Got Fingered.
I thought that was going to be Rip Torn and I was going to fucking blow a casket. But, no.
So are we now going to get the elephant on this podcast? Because it's just the elephant and the horse. I'm not missing anything else.
The deer's dead already.
Oh, the deer. True. Yeah, the deer. Yeah.
But that's not a couple.
Yeah. Worst director, win for Tom Green for Freddy Got Fingered.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much fun shit here. Like, absolutely not.
Anthony Michael Hall thinks he's a genius. The next Stanley Kubrick, I believe he said.
Kyle Schmansky thinks he's a genius.
And so, I trust Anthony Michael Hall more than I trust Mr. Razzie. And worst screenplay, Freddy Got Fingered, written by Tom Green and Derek Harvey. So, exactly. No. So... Tom Green did turn up, of course famously. This was held at the Abracadabra Theatre at the Magicopolis in Santa Monica, so it was another in-person ceremony. So, interestingly, it says that Tom Green was only the second person to ever turn up, the first being Paul Verhoeven. I was like, I had no idea Paul went.
Neither did I.
And,
Come on down.
And, that's just... It's bizarre that,
But, all that makes me happy is that Verhoeven, me, and Tom Green all have the same idea. Like, we're getting that fucking Razzie. We are going to get that.
Yeah. And so Tom Green showed up to personally accept his awards, bring his own red carpet. He also played an endless harmonica solo at the end of the show and had to be literally dragged off stage.
I love this man so much.
And so I saw, there is video of him arriving in the car and rolling out his red carpet. And, because it's tucked under his arm. And he just unfurls it as soon as he gets out of the car and steps off. And then there's press there. I was surprised. There's tons of video cameras.
It'll be his press, though. He'll have fucking...
I don't know. I think it might just be that the Razzies used to be a thing. And so there's a quote from Tom Green where he says... I'd just like to say to all the other nominees in the audience, I don't think that I deserve it any more than the rest of you. I'd like to say that I don't think that would be truth, though. Because he told the press, he's like, I'm very happy with all the positive attention that my movie's been getting. And they're like, oh, so you think this is undeserved then? He's like, no, it's very deserved. He's like, I wanted to win this. I went out to win this. I'm very proud to win this.
Nice.
So, watch that interview because it just screams that he is... I was like, I am watching Kyle. This is Kyle on the red carpet of the Razzies. And so, smallest change that can make the biggest difference, it's probably changing Tom Green. It would... Because this is kind of his thing, so you could change him to Pauly Shore and that would ruin parts of the film and you'd lose some things, gain some other things, but I don't really know anything to discuss.
I don't have nothing. The only thing I would probably enjoy more is more Rip Torn dynamics, but that might set off the balance. I don't know.
It doesn't we've kind of, it's become fixes, but I think we were originally the biggest, the smallest change you could make that would make the biggest difference. So it could be a tiny little adjustment that would break the film and ruin it.
I'll say
removed Rip Torn.
Give it a fucking shitty soundtrack.
Yeah.
Just give it a bland,
A pop
like,
punk
pop
generic.
punk,
Yeah.
And
It
just,
loses
like,
its personality.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Having that little bit more of an edge, like having the pistols and stuff and the dolls, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that concludes one of the most momentous first halves in podcast history as we at last cover Freddy Got Fingered.
Sore voice now, you know.
Yeah. So we're now going to take a brief break with a little musical sting and then return for the second half. All of the other winners and nominees for the year of 2001. Welcome back to the second half of the podcast where we will be covering all of the other winners and nominees. So, worst picture, we have 3,000 Miles to Graceland, which, as we discussed in the break, surprisingly, you have not seen it, and I have.
You have. So, but I did have my Kurt Russell trivia at hand. This is the second Elvis appearance of Kurt Russell. I have seen the 77, 78 TV movie, and he's fun. He's great in that. I have no interest to watch this. I'm not an Elvis fan. As much as a Kurt Russell fan I am, I can only do one. So how was it?
It's dire. It's dreadful. Well, it's Kurt Russell and Kevin Costner. So really, I should be handing over to you or Isaiah, but neither of you have seen it. So I'm just left speaking about 3,000 Miles to Graceland. It's bad. It's a bunch of like the redeeming merits, like a gang of Elvis impersonators going through a casino shooting people and committing crimes is kind of like an interesting image. But the movie's generic and the movie's just dull. And it's another Vancouver Razzie film, interestingly. They shot at the motel, which is like a 2-minute walk from my old house. And every time I walked past that motel, I was like, this motel's so interesting. I was like, I'd love to feature this in something someday. And 3,000 Miles to Graceland beat me to it. Fair. But yeah, no, it's not a good movie. And doubtlessly we will be speaking about it a little bit later on as we work our way down the categories. Cool. Then we have Pearl Harbor. Have you seen that?
I have seen Pearl Harbor. I assume you've seen Pearl Harbor?
Nope.
No? Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. That's a strange one.
No, I don't like Michael Bay, really, so I haven't seen Armageddon. I haven't seen Pearl Harbor. I haven't seen
Despite
Bad
you
Boys.
calling him an auteur visionary during the Transformers time.
Yeah. I've seen Ambulance.
I like The Rock. It's about it. Pearl Harbor is not for me. I watched it probably as a kid. I think my mum and dad would have watched it on TV. And I remember it being so fucking depressingly dull. Yeah. And then years later, probably when the 16, 17 and the Michael Bay sweep, excitement. Yeah. Fuck it. No, this must be great. This must be Armageddon. This must be like a really fun film. It's not. It's really not. I really dislike Pearl Harbor. You take away like the style, the patriotism of it and all that. Like, even if you take away all that shit, it's not a good film. Like everyone knows Affleck rips on it, and people have taken the piss out of it.
A man with such exceptional taste that he has worked on a number of Kevin Smith movies.
In this year, this very year, he is slagging a film and then running off to fuck about in Jane Silent Bob. So, not much to say really. It's just boring. It's a big plodding, boring film, which is not for me.
Yeah. And then we have Glitter, the Gary Glitter biopic. No, it's a romantic musical drama film starring Mariah Carey
and Terrence Howard. Yeah. What a strange combination. Yeah. I've not seen Glitter. Have you seen Glitter?
No. I don't really have anything to say about Mariah Carey. She was good in Precious, but I understand that is the break from the norm. No. And then we have Driven, which I watched a couple months ago. That's Rocky in a car, directed by Rennie Harlan.
All the ingredients are there for me, but it's not good.
Yeah. No, it's bad. And then the winner, Freddy Got Fingered, of course. So moving on to worst actor, John Travolta, our man, Turl himself, is back the following year.
It didn't affect his work. That's the best part.
With Domestic Disturbance and Swordfish as Frank Morrison and Gabriel Shear. Have you seen Domestic Disturbance?
I haven't, no. It doesn't even ring a bell. It looks good.
Psychological thriller.
Looks like a Seagal film.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn, Steve Buscemi.
No.
Yeah, and Swordfish. Have you seen Swordfish?
I have. A long time ago now. This was one of my sister's favourite films when I was growing up. Again, it's that anything Lock, Stock, Smoking Barrels. Yeah. Anything Guy Ritchie.
Geezery.
Jason, and she was keen for. I liked it years ago. I haven't seen it since I was 11. So, yeah, no.
Yeah, I haven't seen either. Keanu Reeves in Hardball and Sweet November as Connor O'Neill. I have a friend called Connor McNeil.
Oh.
And Nelson Moth, respectively.
No, I haven't seen either of these films. This is what that in between Matrix is. 1 and 2. That's that little strange spot for Keanu.
Yeah. Then we have Kevin Costner in 3,000 Miles to Graceland as Thomas J. Murphy. He's bad. I know I've spoken about how I've come around on Costner a little bit in like Let Him Go. I think he's really good. I think he's decent as Pa Kent. He's aged into a little bit of gravitas. But this was when he was at his least interesting, and I do not like him in that film. Then we have Ben Affleck in Pearl Harbor as Captain Rafe McCauley.
Yep, he is bad. Yeah, I agree with that one. It's a big name, big film, like shit performance. That's what a Razzie should be about.
Why did he keep working with Michael Bay if he shit talked him all the time?
I mean, I guess it's Ben Affleck shit talking them is more like
an affectionate
smoking a joint and watching it back and going, "Oh my god, this is pretty stupid."
Yeah,
I think he would do that to Kevin Smith.
Yeah,
like, I think Ben is the kind of guy that would. I'm not a big Ben Affleck fan here, but I think he would just say this is shit.
Yeah,
I don't think he'd pull punches or like cozy up.
Because just like the Armageddon thing's notorious for like he's very candid about
did an audio commentary.
Yeah, exactly. That's where the whole infamous like. I told him that would it not make more sense to train astronauts to drill rather than to train drillers to become astronauts? He didn't have an answer.
But Shia's like this when he watched back the Transformers, and he was like, "Oh my god, these are genius, but also mad, weird." Like...
But he did it after he's never worked with Michael Bay afterwards. No. So anyway, then of course Tom Green and Freddy Got Fingered. So moving on to worst actress. Charlize Theron in Sweet November as Sarah Deaver. We've not seen it, so nothing to say. I think she's really good, so it's hard to imagine her being Razzie worthy. Then we have Jennifer Lopez in Angel Eyes and The Wedding Planner as Sharon Pogue and Mary Fiore.
I've seen The Wedding Planner.
All right.
You've seen The Wedding. Have you seen The Wedding
Nope.
Planner? No. The Wedding Planner is a very generic fucking rom-com from 2001 that you have seen without seeing.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, she plans weddings.
Yeah.
But can she ever plan her own? Yeah. Jim Caviezel, The Sound of Freedom's Jim Caviezel is in Angel Eyes.
Jesus, and so is Terrence Howard again.
Yeah, busy year for him.
Boy's getting work.
I'm going to be disappointed if he shows up in the next category. Then we have Angelina Jolie in Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, and Original Sin as Lara Croft and Julia Russell / Bonnie Castle.
I covered this when we talked about Book of Shadows. Not Book of Shadows, whatever the fucking sequel to Tomb Raider's called. It's something of Shadows.
Yeah.
The first film's fine. It's actually good fun. Rimmer from Red Dwarf's in it as a butler. It's good fun. It's not good.
Yeah.
It's that Charlie's Angels thing. It's 2001. It's a very girl power kick-ass adaptation.
Yeah, she's not like a... Isn't it like a great, like, charismatic performer? When she sells the physical attributes of the role.
And and it's good because it's got that, like, she can move as well. Like, she's, like...
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it's, like, believable.
Yeah,
it's like I buy her as that character.
Yeah, so, no, I'm passing her. She might fucking suck in Original Sin, though.
Well, it's a 2001 erotic thriller starring Antonio Banderas and Angelina Jolie, a remake of the Truffaut film Mississippi Mermaid. 2001... I guess we've still got Basic Instinct 2 to come, but it seemed like the erotic thrillers were kind of on their way out by then. But anyway. Then, such an interesting lineup this year. Penelope Cruz in Blow, Captain Corelli's Mandolin, and Vanilla Sky as Mirtha Young, Pelagia, and Sophia Serrano. So the only one of those I've seen is Vanilla Sky.
I've seen all three, I believe. Go hover over Blow for a second.
Yeah, I've seen
Blow. I've seen Captain Corelli's Mandolin and Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
So I've seen all three of these films. Blow, I enjoyed Blow. Pass. I enjoyed Vanilla Sky. The only one I really hated was Captain Corelli's Mandolin. It's because I read the book in school.
Yeah.
And I loved the book. And it was the same time as his like first year. It was like, oh my god, there's an adaptation this year of the book I've just read. Let's watch it. And it's shit. Nicolas Cage is really bad in it, so I'm surprised he's managed to escape a nom or anything here. I'm not the biggest Penelope Cruz fan though, so like
I like her. I can't quite recall Vanilla Sky because like I've obviously seen like the Spanish language original, and so Cameron Crowe's one, I was like, there were some interesting elements, but I was like, why do you have to make it a Cameron Crowe movie?
Yeah.
I can't remember because I think that was one of her like early Hollywood roles, wasn't it? And I think she might be possibly kind of ropey, but I couldn't tell you for sure. The winner, Mariah Carey, in Glitter as Billy Frank. So as I said, my understanding was that Precious was like a surprise to people, like, oh, I didn't know she had that in her. So from what I heard, she's not a good actor, and so this is kind of like yeah, this seems like more the norm than Precious, if what I've heard is to be assumed correct. Then moving on to worst supporting actor, we have Rip Torn and Freddy Got Fingered and Now I'm Angry. Sylvester Stallone in Driven as Joe Tanto. We covered that on our Stallone episode. I don't think he's good. He's not stinking bad, but he's not good. Burt Reynolds in Driven as Carl Henry. He is, not good. It's not the high points of his Boogie Nights performance or indeed his striptease performance. Max Beasley in Glitter as Julian Dice Black. Julian Dice Clay.
No comment.
Max Beasley, who even is that?
He rings a bell.
He's a television actor.
Oh,
known for Suits, The Midwich Cuckoos, History of Tom Jones, A Foundling, The Match, Hotel. No, I haven't seen Empire. I must have seen him in something, but yeah, I'm not recognizing Last of the Summer Wine. No, I'm not. CSI. No. Okay. Yeah. Well, the winner, Charlton Heston.
Come on down.
In Cats and Dogs, Planet of the Apes cameo. He specifies cameo.
Yeah.
Wow.
First ever time.
Yeah. And Town and Country as the Mastiff, Zeus, and Mr. Claiborne. So, one thing at a time. Have you seen Cats and Dogs?
I have seen Cats and Dogs. I liked it when I was 11, 10.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it since I was 10, 11. I thought it was fun then. I assume he's a voiceover. Couldn't recall him.
Yeah, the Mastiff, he is a dog. So I also haven't seen it since I was a child, and I didn't know who Charlton Heston was. I was just like, it's Tobey Maguire. So cannot comment on that one. Planet of the Apes, I had no idea he was in Planet of the Apes.
I didn't know. Yeah, I've seen the remake. Not recently, but
yeah, same.
It must be a line or something.
Well, Zeus. Is he
Zeus,
Dr.
Dr.
Zeus?
Zeus.
Yeah. Every
Dr.
chimpanzee from chimpanzee to chimpanzee.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I have no recollection, but I guess maybe he's hidden under monkey makeup. Ape makeup, sorry. And then Town and Country, Mr. Claiborne. Have you seen Town and Country?
No. 2 out of 3. Yeah,
so Mr. Razzie is just like massively painted the target on his back by starting to specify when something is a cameo, because then it's just like, okay, well, are you going to put parenthesis cameo behind every... Like, if Drew Barrymore isn't a cameo, then why is Heston?
Amen.
And interesting that I'd forgotten Planet of the Apes was this year. I think that's worst picture worthy.
I mean, it's probably more worthy than Freddy Got Fingered.
Absolutely.
I always told the story of going to the cinema with my dad in Dundee and to go see Planet of the Apes, but AI was on, and I decided I'd rather go see AI than the best decision 11-year-old Kyle ever made. That's my fork in the road, you know. One story I'm gushing over fucking Tom Green, and the other I'm...
You know, Father, I would like to see Stanley Kubrick's unfinished movie AI. Worst supporting actress, Goldie Hawn in Town and Country as Mona Morris.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we haven't seen that film, and Goldie Hawn, I haven't seen her be good in anything, I don't think.
It's more of a name.
Yeah. This is Kurt Russell. Julie Haggerty in Freddy Got Fingered as Julie Brody. Courtney Cox in 3,000 Miles to Graceland as Sybil Waingro. She's terrible.
So I only have one little note on this, and this has just clicked here. Last week we talked about Ready to Rumble, the David Arquette WCW film. So in this time period, it was filmed at the same time as Graceland. So there's a video where Kurt Russell and Courtney Cox appear on WCW.
Oh, wow.
And they're telling David Arquette to quit the wrestling and get back to acting. And it is obviously shot outside Kurt Russell's trailer. In fact, I think it comes out his trailer.
Yeah.
So it is David Arquette. Like David Arquette have got two. They're not appearing on the show, but they'll do it for David. So yeah, David Arquette and Courtney Cox were That was the other power couple of 2001.
Yeah,
Move over, Bodymore.
And Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell being the other. Goldie Hawn's in their trailer for Town and Country. Everything is connected. And then the winner is Stella Warren in Drive and Planet of the Apes as Sophia Simone and Dana. So, Canadian actress, fashion model, and former synchronized swimmer. I don't remember her in Driven. It's been too long already. Everyone is bad in Driven. And do you remember? I'm assuming she's just like someone like Marky Mark crash lands on Earth. And is she like a human that's become like a savage, like a non-verbal?
I think so, but the Burns one is between the original and the new trilogy.
Yeah.
Burns has got that unfortunate, everything's just melded together, and
certainly I can imagine the kind of role it is, and if it's her, I don't think she's particularly good. Moving on to worst screen couple. Kurt Russell and either Kevin Costner or Courtney Cox in 3,000 Miles to Greatest Land. Okay, I would lead with Costner. I think it's Costner. And then maybe Kurt Russell. Because Kurt Russell's in the triangle. He's the only one that really has scenes with both, but he's not as bad as Costner is. So I'm objecting to Costner getting kind of off there. Burt Reynolds and Sylvester Stallone in Driven. Yeah, absolutely. Not good. Mariah Carey's cleavage and glitter. Oh yes, Mr. Razzie's back at it. It's been a little while since we've had a body part. Yeah. But yeah, he is...
come on down.
Yeah. Ben Affleck and either Kate Beckinsale or Josh Hartnett in Pearl Harbor.
Yes, I agree with that. Especially Josh Hartnett, but especially Kate Beckinsale.
Tom Green and the animal he abuses in Freddy Got Fingered. The winner, of course, worst remake or sequel.
Oh, love it.
Sweet November.
Oh, that's a bad start.
Yeah, so this was loosely based on the 1968 film Sweet November.
Fair, and no comment.
Pearl Harbor.
Is a remake of the real event, is it?
What? It's not a sequel, like... what?
Is it a remake of the real event? I don't...
Yeah, like...
unless there's some other film, you know, like a...
Oh, hang on, I've just seen Werner Herzog. Oh, okay, no, Roger Ebert said, what you realise watching Lawrence of Arabia is the word epic refers not to the cost or the elaborate production, but to the size of the idea as envisioned. Werner Herzog's Aguirre, Wrath of God didn't cost as much as the catering in Pearl Harbor, but is an epic, and Pearl Harbor is not. I thought we were going to see Werner Herzog commenting on Pearl Harbor. Yeah, no, like, is this like, is he saying this is like a sequel to like... What? I don't know. All Quiet on the Western Front?
Yeah, like, war film, yeah. Best sequel to the Dam Busters. Or the prequel to the Dam Busters.
Yeah. Jurassic Park 3. Oh, wow. That was this year.
I knew there was something. I was saying to you, 2001's a weird year for me.
The stinkers are going to have some interesting selections.
I went to Jurassic Park 3 in the cinema.
Me too, yeah.
I didn't like it.
I loved it because I have no critical faculties when it comes to dinosaurs.
I don't know why I didn't. Like, I did like it. Like,
yeah.
But like I wasn't rushing. I wasn't upset. Like Lost World.
I was obsessed with it because it was one of those let's cater to young boys by being like, hey, young boy, if you were stranded in Jurassic Park, you'd kind of be the best one. Yeah. You'd survive.
Yeah. Okay. I in hindsight, in retrospect, I like it more. It's the Terminator 3 of the franchise.
Yeah.
It's only aging better.
Given what?
What's to come. I will say what I really like about this film is the pterodactyl cage, the big bird cage. That is great set
That's a great sequence.
And it also sets it away from the first two. It's actually got something visually different.
They fly now?
Yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. It's more the first film again. The regurgitated parts.
Not least the bit when a velociraptor talks. The dream sequence. Alan. Never seen that before. And then you have, close to your heart, Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles.
It sucks. I really like the first two.
Yeah.
Because like Paul Hogan's probably an arsehole, right? Like
he's Australian, so sorry. I'm just gradually crossing off countries I cannot go to.
And he's not a good actor, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what he does. I don't know where he's from. I know he's like a Ernest or something to me. You know, like he stumbled into a film. So how you got this? But you know what? Fuck it. I really do enjoy especially the first one. Great. I like Fish Out of Water Stories. Yeah. The third film where he is like 900 years old and like It's bad. There's nothing nice to say about this one. Yeah, this is a proper Razzie. This is a real bad. Like all the values. It's been like 10 years since the second one. You're older. You've got less money, and it's just everyone involved's worse. Again, like an later day Ernest film. Yeah, fuck this film. It's a bad film.
And then the winner, Planet of the Apes, which to my eyes were the winner. I've not really seen anything apart from Jurassic Park 3, but like Planet of the Apes, you would think should be like relatively easy to do. I think this was one my dad said was like, oh, like my dad always takes credit for like Westworld, or he doesn't always take credit, but my dad said for ages, you know what I've always thought they should do is remake Westworld, because I bet that would be really good with modern special effects. And then I was like, they did it, Dad. You're right. It is better. It's a thoughtful meditation on consciousness and what it is to be human. And I was like, yeah, I just wanted robots shooting each other.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's now. I watched the new one and I'm like, where's Yul Bremner? Like,
yeah.
when are we going to get to the
Well, you and my dad need to get together. And I'm sure my dad is like, oh, I thought Planet of the Apes was going to be great with all the special effects and what they could do now.
Like, the thing about Planet of the Apes, this is my opinion, so like I'm wrong, but when I watched them all, I bought the box set.
Yeah.
And I'd seen the first one to death, and I think I'd seen a sequel, like Beneath or Conquest.
Yeah.
So I watched the first one again, great, loved it, and then I carried on through. And you know what? They suck. Like they're not good films.
There's way too many of them that there's no way that the vast majority can be good. Yeah, exactly.
Like, by the third one, fourth one, you're real cheap, real nasty, real bad. So as a worse sequel, I don't think it's a
remake of the original. That's what I'm saying. Because I think the first, I haven't really seen it, but to my understanding, the beginning of the Planet of the Apes is solid enough, but without anything iconic. I guess if you really love Charlton Heston, but that's kind of what you want with a remake, is you want a good sort of premise and something which you can improve upon. You don't want an iconic Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator. If you remake that without Arnie,
I don't think you can do it. In my opinion, you have to do it like the new trilogy and explore.
I think that's the better way to do it. But I think if you're a money desperate hack, I think you can.
And as we touched upon after my favorite Simpsons episode, that is hard to do because they nailed the remake in 12 seconds.
Yeah.
You know more from Dr. Zayas, get your hands off me, you dirty ape.
Yeah.
You know more from Troy McClure's little montage than this film.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's shit though.
Worst director, Rennie Harlan for Driven.
Makes me sad, but
it's the actions, the car racing, okay, but no, not good. Very 2001. Vondi Curtis Hall for Glitter. I have never heard that name before.
No.
He was an actor who played Dr. Dennis Hancock on Chicago Hope and Ben Urich in Daredevil. And he wrote and directed the cult film Gridlocked. So, yeah, he's in Die Hard 2. And Coming to America.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, directed the episode of The Sopranos. Wow.
Yeah, fair. That's my boy.
Great career he's had, but can't comment. Peter Chelsom with Warren Beatty for Town and Country.
It's a strange credit there, isn't it? With
yeah. I'm assuming this is just because Warren Beatty acts in it. I'm assuming he's just saying that Warren Beatty's pulling and Edward Norton is backseat directing, as he's known to do. Then Michael Bay for Pearl Harbor. And
I agree. I think this is the real winner.
I think we can fit Tim Burton in here somewhere.
I agree with that. Tim Burton's got very fucking lucky. A lot of people have got lucky here, to be honest.
And then, of course, the winner, Tom Green for Freddy Got Fingered. So, moving on to Worst Screenplay. 3000 Miles to Graceland, written by Richard Recco and Demian Lichtenstein. Rubbish screenplay. Pearl Harbor, written by Randall Wallace. Is that not a Clerk's character? He wrote Braveheart. Yeah. Okay, so we're obliged to stick up for him.
You know how historically accurate this man is. He loves accuracy. Yeah.
Glitter, screenplay by Kate Lanier, story by Cheryl L. West. Driven, screenplay by Sylvester Stallone, story by Jean Skrentny and Neil Tabachnik. So yeah, it's not a good screenplay, but what do you expect from the man who wrote Rocky? Then Freddy Got Fingered, written by Tom Green and Derek Harvey. So that brings us to a close as far as the Razzies are concerned. Is 2001, however, so we do have the stinkers. So maybe the first time they gave the award to Freddy Got Fingered with 46% of the vote. Their shortlist might be exactly the same as the Razzies. Yeah. Glitter, Pearl Harbor, 3,000 Miles to Graceland, Town and Country. But as ever, it is in the dishonorable mentions where they make their money. AI, Artificial Intelligence, American Outlaws, The Animal, Blow, Bones, Bubble Boy, Captain Corelli's Mandolin, Corky Romano, Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles, Double Take, Dr. Dolittle 2, Driven, Evolution, 15 Minutes, Ghost of Mars, The Glass House, Hannibal, How High.
Oh my god, Hannibal, How High.
I Am Sam. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Snitchy Booches, we salute you, the Stinker Movie Awards. You know what? You might have nominated Eternal Sunshine, but it's all worth it now. Jeepers Creepers, Joe Dirt.
Yeah, we could have been watching Joe Dirt, man.
Joe Somebody, Jurassic Park 3, A Knight's Tale, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, Left Behind, Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Majestic, The Man Who Wasn't There, Megiddo, The Omega Code 2, Memento, The Mexican, Monkey Bone, Moulin Rouge, Mulholland Drive, The Mummy Returns, The Musketeer, Not Another Teen Movie, On the Line, The One Night at McCool's, Original Sin, Planet of the Apes, Pokemon 3, Pootie Tang, Rat Race, The Royal Tenenbaums, Say It Isn't So, Scary Movie 2, Serendipity, Summer Catch, Sweet November, Swordfish, Tomcats, Valentine, Vanilla Sky, The Wash, What's the Worst That Could Happen, Zoolander. Okay, we found it. If you're sending me to a desert island or you're sending me off to a house in Pakistan and I can only have movies from one stinker, give me this, because wow, what a lineup.
I like how, you're going through them, you're getting angry at like Lord of the Rings, and you're like, I don't like seeing Anderson here, but it was Zoolander that the actual vein appeared.
No, exactly, yeah. Terrence Malick's beloved Zoolander. Oh, wow.
I like there's a streak up there. I've seen Carpenter and Lynch together in the same list. Although Ghost of Mars does suck. I'm sorry, John.
I know that we've tied our loyalties to the mast here, but like we needed to contact the stinker guys because like they're so fascinating to me. What do they like?
But this is just people.
What do they like?
Write-ins. This obviously is just people writing in. This feels a lot more.
This has to be someone being like, I saw Memento and it didn't make sense. Just make the movie forward.
Percentage of votes. It gotta be some trolls putting in Lord of the Rings is unfaithful. Like when you open, see, I think that's the beauty of the stinkers. Is it is open. It feels more open.
Yeah.
Whereas the Razzies close knit clique of fat hacks. But here, like. You're swinging for the fences every time you see one thing. You're like, oh fuck, that is right. Like there's a lot in there. There was a few where I was like, absolutely, I'm surprised that they escaped the Razzies. What was a big one? I was like Dr. Dolittle too, but
Joe Dirt.
Hannibal was quite a big like like name that could have been ragged on.
I Am Sam could be.
But there was a big one. What was the one?
Scary Movie 2? No.
Fuck knows, but it's a good list. Evolution being there that's a great film.
Yeah, Monkey Bone. That's incredible. Like, what does Mr. Razzie think of Monkey Bone? If Mr. Razzie was like a stand for Monkey Bone, that would... Because Monkey Bone, I think, is... Monkey Bone is a worse Freddy Got Fingered. You've seen Monkey Bone, right? Chris Kattan, of course. Yeah,
I'd like to hear Mr. Razzie's thoughts on Mulholland Drive as well.
This is just incredible. We've got Lynch, the Coens, like Wes Anderson, Christopher Nolan, Carpenter. It's such everyone's such a strong year.
Tom Green, all the good directors.
Okay, and so in some of their other categories, Steven Seagal was nominated for Worst Actor, and Exit Wounds.
Exit Wounds is a fucking dreadful film. I would have loved to have watched that.
Yeah. The Rock won Worst Supporting Actor for The Mummy Returns with a massive 40% of the vote.
He's not in it though.
He's in the start.
Is that actually him?
The Warrior, when like this opens with a little prologue.
Thing that opened with that.
No, like what's the guy? Ardeth Bay is doing the voiceover. There was once a king who ruled all of. He made a deal with the gods.
I shouldn't have questioned Mummy lore when
you were now going to be reciting the entire script to The Mummy Returns. Cuba Gooding Jr. for Rat Race, of course. That's the. I need your hat. My hat? Why my hat? For vagina. Clearly we shouldn't be doing movies from 2000.
There's one film I seen here. I actually went to see on my 11th birthday. Is Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within.
Okay.
Which was a massive flop.
Yeah.
Massive critical and commercial failure. 11-year-old Kyle hated it.
Yeah.
It's a good song. I like it now. I really like it now, but that was ragged on. That was one of those massive flops that I thought the Razzies might have, because you would also have the fake actors, CGI actors and face scans. It's the first film to do that properly, so yeah, I'm surprised that. I really wish we were watching Joe Dirt though.
Yeah. I'm just seeing here Shannon Elizabeth was nominated for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. The only nomination, so Smithy and Muse dodged noms, but that hardly seems fair. I'm just learning now that Alexander Payne was one of the writers on Jurassic Park 3. Yeah. I guess the divorce storyline with William H. Macy and T. Leone makes a little more sense. I'm imagining Alexander Payne, it's all just about like Dr. Alan Grant getting divorced and William H. Macy getting divorced, and there's maybe a dinosaur out the window.
No dinosaur.
Yeah. And then what else have we got?
I'm looking
here?
at worst song in a film, and I'm seeing the Sausage Song by Tom Green.
Oh my god, 27. It only missed out by 2%. Yeah. It lost to Loverboy by Mariah Carey. We've also got Lady Marmalade by Christina Aguilera et al. From Moulin Rouge, and Because I Got High by Afroman from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Freddy was nominated for Most Intrusive Musical Score. It's 5% off a win. It's not really intrusive. Like the songs, sure, but the score...
Not very, very low. And even the songs aren't. They're only intrusive because there's nothing to say.
Because that's the point. Yeah. It's like
he's on a skateboard.
Like,
here's a song.
like non-diegetic music is going to be like by its nature. Yeah.
I do see one on the worst on-screen couple though. I want you to talk about.
Okay, well I've just my eyes are moving down.
Okay,
I've just seen Harry Potter.
I'm Terminator, like looking for
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was also nominated for a score. Oh my god! Of course. You want me to discuss Lance Bass and Joey Fatone? No, Woody Allen and any actress decades younger in The Curse of the Jade Scorpion. I don't think I've seen. I think this is one of the very few that I have not seen. But of course, this is the threshold where he, at this point, this is kind of round about his retirement from acting, where I think he was beginning to realize like, what's the point in acting in films if you can't be the romantic lead and sleep with actors half your age? So he would soon retire from performing in films and then making his comeback in From Rome with Love. But yeah, no, I can definitely imagine it's probably very uncomfortable. Looking at the cast list, I just see Charlize Theron, and that's my fear.
I seen Dan Aykroyd was the first one my eyes went to. It's like Dan Aykroyd, David Wallace. Like,
I'm just really dreading Charlize Theron falling for Woody Allen. Most annoying on-screen group. Oh, yeah, again, that's our favourite category from last week. Josie and the Pussycats in Josie and the Pussycats. What appears to be the cast of Michael Jackson's Thriller posing as Martians and John Carpenter's Ghost of Mars.
It's bad.
The Elves impersonators in 3,000 Miles to Graceland. The Lucy impersonators that don't look anything like Lucille Ball in Rat Race. That's the point.
Yep. The
Supermodels in Head Over Heels.
Most annoying fake accent for a male. No Tom Green.
They
convinced them that they was not Canadian.
Well done. Then we get Jake Gyllenhaal for Bubble Boy in Worst On-Screen Hairstyle. He loses out to Joe Dirt, who got 51% of the vote. This is where I'm going to get up in arms. Nomination for Owen Wilson in Zoolander. Why models are important. They make people feel good about themselves and show them how to wear their hair in interesting ways. Owen Wilson's on-screen hairstyle is basically just the Wilson cut from that time period. And then, that's kind of...
the only one I want to is a Kyle category at the very bottom.
Yeah.
I would list this Most Unwanted Straight-to-DVD sequel. I could write books about that. There's nothing good there. Tremors 3 is dreadful. I've not seen Beethoven's Fourth or Children of the Corn Revelation, but this is a category I could get behind it. This is the straight to give me the Hellraiser 10s and all these.
The Barry Bumsteads.
Give me that. Give me a full category of, and it's actually like worked into that, not just eligibility. But a straight to DVD sequel. Like there's rules, go for
it. And then they have the Founders Award, aka What Were They Thinking? And this went to Sony Pictures and its fictitious movie critic, David Manning. So, did you know about this?
No, I don't think so.
This was a guy that Sony Pictures made up and just used to give quotes to their own movies.
Ah, fuck.
So he reviewed A Knight's Tale saying that Heath Ledger was this year's hottest new star, which is fine. But he also reviewed The Animal, Rob Schneider's vehicle, calling it another winner. And then, yeah,
what was the first winner?
Yeah. I can't remember how he got busted, but I knew the name David Manning was familiar. I was like, yeah, it's like Trump with John Barron. How he just be giving phone calls talking about himself. So yeah, thank you to the Stinkers for reminding us of that. Okay, that brings things to a close. We do have a couple pieces of other business to discuss, and this is why I was so reluctant to cover him on the special, because it's just opening the floodgates to now every week is going to be like, Kevin Smith's done something else, Kyle. We need to talk about it.
It's a George Bush meme, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Kevin Smith has just dropped.
But in Kevin Smith news, he is holding a film festival at the Smod Castle cinemas. So I just had a quick look to see like what kind of things are playing there, and so here's a strand at the festival. Movie Morpher Part 1.
What the fuck?
Movie Morpher Bob. The evil Clit Commander finds the great Mubalon power coins and battles Zord with the unlikeliest of heroes on Earth. Can our heroes save the universe from the intergalactic Clit? Maybe. Kevin Smith / Jay and Silent Bob / Power Rangers spoof. So, like, you think that it's just a film festival of like fan films, but it's not. Like, it's like 50% stuff like this, and then 50% like actual films.
Fuck.
And I'm like,
it's weird.
I'm like, if it's just like a fan event, then just make it that.
Yeah.
Don't cross the streams and have like actual. Because so that's one. This is a single screening. So you see Movie Morpher Part 1, and then you see American Pot Story Oaksterdam, which is a documentary about a small group of concerned, committed citizens who took a huge risk in order to bring about a massive shift in public perception. It all happened at Oaksterdam University, magical place where cannabis history was made, falling right in place with Oakland's rich history of civil resistance. So you can buy a ticket to a screening, which is a documentary about weed and a Kevin Smith fan film about Jay and Silent Bob fighting Megazords.
Fucking hell.
And this like, there's just so many events there. I don't want to cover all of them, but I also discovered the existence of the Cruise-Askew.
Oh, I can smell it from here. Why does it smell bad in here? No, it doesn't.
So
shit.
I'll read it. It's like the
Hold on. Let me digest. Hold on. You can.
It's like the Bud Light party cruise in that it is not enough to go to conventions with them. It's not enough to hang out with Kevin Smith in his personal cinema, in his personal home, where he will cook a meal for you. If you are a obsessive Smith fan, then you can pay money to go on a cruise with Jay, Silent Bob. Who else is there? Like Dante and Randall, Jason Lee, Ethan. I don't know who that is.
That's,
Ralph Garman. But yeah, as you said, final one build is Jennifer Schwalbach Smith. Like, oh yeah, I'm sure tons of people are getting excited about that.
My name's Randy.
Okay, yeah. I don't recognize the other names. Like maybe they've got Elias there.
Look at that. Look at good fun. You can blow for fuck's sake.
Yeah. He's in Dog. He might be turning down work. Unlike everyone else, he might be giving up work to be on this cruise. So this is a 3-day cruise, Miami to the Bahamas. And you can hang out where podcasts are recorded live, and there's a Kevin Smith museum, there's like a movies restaurant, and there's a script reading of Clerks 3, and you can visit the Kevin Smith museum, this is just like...
It's his cupboard, isn't it? His wardrobe, it's his fucking man cave. Like, look at all these bits look how good I am, like...
I'm just so fascinated by the existence of this, because this costs, like... I looked it up because I expected it to be, like, prohibitively expensive, and it's not, like... For, like, 3 days, I guess. It's not, like, obscenely unreasonable. It's, like, a couple thousand. But I was expecting it to be like 5 figures.
Okay,
But I'm like, okay, it's only 3 days, but it's like, I was expecting a lot worse. But still, what kind of person would go on this?
I don't know.
Like, is this lonely nerds on their own?
I mean, yeah, it is. It is. Like, you know what their type is. But
do you think it's like people... Do you think there are any couples going on this?
Probably.
Being like, maybe they're both Smith fans, but just stereotyping. Every Kevin Smith fan is a guy.
Oh, yes.
Like, I don't know any woman who's like, I love Kevin Smith.
A grand each. We're pooling together. We get a ticket for Tom Green. We send him on the Smith cruise, right? With a camera and just some sausages.
I sent you it. He performed at the Smod Castle, so he can probably blag a ticket for free. We don't even need to pay.
Tom, get us there.
Yeah, because I'm just so fascinated. Honestly, I kind of think me and you should go, and we should just make a documentary uncovering like the kind of people that go on this, because I am just so fascinated. I'm obsessed with this. I want to make a movie about the view of Cruise. Like Knives Out 3 should be a murder. Someone kills Kevin Smith on the view of Cruise.
That would be a good
It's Poirot meets...
Because like obviously, like Daniel Craig's gonna assume it's Jason Mewes. He's the obvious one, but he's the red herring, isn't he?
Well, everyone else will point to him and be like, well, why would Mr. Mewes kill his cash cow? Before he died, he changed his will and testament, writing Mr. Mewes out of it, and Mr. Mewes was aware that when Mr. Smith was killed, he would not inherit the Patreon. Like, this just writes itself. Fuck all those people making shooting clerks and like chasing Amy, like the movie Click Commander stuff. We're just gonna be like, hello, Mr. Johnson, can we possibly get the rights to Benoit Blanc? Because we have a very interesting proposal for you. What's Daniel Craig's schedule like?
Jason Mewes is cleared. It's okay.
We get Jason Mewes to play himself. No shit, man. I'm not gonna kill Kevin. I love that guy.
Oh my god. Okay, we can't talk that. That was... My chest hurts.
Okay, and so that concludes another episode. So if you want to get in touch with us, if you want to participate in Knives Out 3, then email us at Watching Worst Films. You can contact us on social media where we are Watching Worst, and we will be returning to you next week with a special, which if you have listened to our last couple episodes, you will know is Showgirls 2. So
can't wait, guys. Well, no, I'm dreading it, but can't wait to talk about it.
See you then.
See you then.